Good morning, everyone. May I please request all the participants to join with their codes and names. I request all the participants to kindly join participant code and their names. We're going to begin with the proceedings soon. For good ideas and true innovation, you need human interaction, conflict, argument, and debate. A very exuberant good morning to the vivacious gathering of the virtual gala event. It gives me immense pleasure and elation to welcome you all to Sri S.N. Ganju Memorial Interschool English Debate 2021. Sri S.N. Ganju Memorial Interschool Debate is hosted annually in the loving memory of our erstwhile General Secretary, Sri S.N. Ganju ji, a great visionary and a founder member of Vishwabharati Women's Welfare Association. At the outset, I would like to extend a congenial welcome to all the reverend members of the management, esteemed jury members, principals of our sister concerns and other prestigious institutions, and our young debaters on this momentous occasion. Sri S.N. Ganju ji was an able administrator and was one of the guiding stars of the formative period of the Vishwabharati chain of institutions. A reverend, an apostle of kindness, a visionary who left no stone unturned to turn impossible to possible. Sri S.N. Ganju ji held our hearts, seized our hands with warmth. His deep devotion made him a shining emblem of all heavenly virtues. To perpetuate his memory so that his values and principles leave an indelible mark on the generations to come, the S.N. Ganju Memorial Interschool Debate saw its beginning in the year 2003. Each passing year saw a number of participants competing with each other for the rolling trophy. The idea behind such a venture is to pay our homage to the departed soul, as well as to bring the debating talent to the forefront. Light and brightness has always been equated with positivity, and motivation is seen as the harbinger of good. To start off on an auspicious note, we will now have the traditional lamp lighting ceremony followed by Rag Bhairavi.
शुभं कुरुध्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धि विनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते शुभं कुरुध्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
बहुत प्यारा लोगों जब आप अपना वीडियो ऑन करोगे तो ये हट जाएगा। यू विल बी लगा रखा है अपनी आईडी पे।
What a soulful rendition indeed. A day without prayer is a day without blessing, and a life without prayer is a life without power. In happy moments, praise God. In painful moments, trust God. And in every moment, thank God. सर्वप्रथम प्रार्थना है भगवान श्री गणेश की, क्योंकि उनके साथ कृपा बरसती है ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश की. Presenting before you all the auspicious Ganesh Vandana.
शुभनयना करुणामय गौरीधर श्री वरद विनायक शुभनयना करुणामय गौरीधर श्री वरद विनायक ओंकार गणपति ओंकार गणपति अधिपति सुखपति छंदपति गंधपति लीन निरंतर लीन निरंतर
गजमुख मंगल गिटि गिड़ धुन धुन धत धत धै जय जगवंदन वक्र तुंड दानी दाता विघ्न हरन शुभ करन नगिनता विघ्न हरन शुभ करन नगिनता विघ्न हरन शुभ करन नगिनता धुम गिट धलांग धलांग धलगिनता धलांग धलांग धलगिनता धलांग धलांग धलगिनता
A power-packed performance indeed. A dream does not become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. It is a belief endorsed by our principal ma'am, Mrs. Prabha Gupta. To welcome is to show honor. To welcome is to establish integrity. So now it is my privilege to invite Principal Ma'am to accord a formal welcome to all the distinguished guests.
A very cheerful good morning to all of you. I feel highly elated to welcome our Vice President Dr. R.K. Shivpuri, Honorable General Secretary Dr. V.K. Ganju, other esteemed management members, eminent jury members of the day, principals of our sister concerns, and other guests who have joined us today on this momentous occasion. It is my proud privilege to welcome you all to our most notable and most prestigious event, Shri S.N. Ganju Memorial Inter-School Debate 2021. Today is a very special day in the history of VBPS Dwarka as we pay reverence to one of the founders of the school, Shri S.N. Ganju ji, who paved the way for all of us to nurture young minds and make them future leaders of tomorrow. Today's topic for the debate is National Education Policy. Will it propel India to global standards? NEP 2020 has been a topic of rigorous discussion since last year. Today, I would like to know that how our students are perceiving this policy. Does this policy seem promising to them? And do they really think that they will be able to sustain better in life? I am extremely excited to witness our enthusiastic debaters today who will be getting engaged in a battle of words with each other. I hope all the debaters will put their best foot forward and enjoy each moment of the competition, exhibiting sportsman spirit in the right earnest. It is rightly said, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. We don't grow when things are easy. We grow when we face challenges. With these words, I wish all the young debaters all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for those beautiful words. The fragrance of flowers spread only in the direction of the wind, but the goodness of a Vice President of Vishwa Bharati Women's Welfare Institution is a seasoned scholar and a mascot of knowledge. Dr. Professor R.K. Shivpuri sir is bestowed with a distinct vision. As it is said, you're never too old to set another goal, how to dream a new dream. So here we share with you all the message of Dr. Professor R.K. Shivpuri sir, a versatile personality, a great source of inspiration for all of us for his service above self.
It gives me great pleasure to learn that VBPS Dwarka is organizing an inter-school debate competition on National Education Policy 2020. Will it propel India to global standards? The essence of national education policy is that the students have to be imparted education based on concepts as against rote learning at present. The whole education policy is student and teacher centric. Every individual student has to be treated as a distinct entity, as students in a class have different levels of IQ and EQ. Merely adopting a national education policy is not enough to propel India to global standards. All the stakeholders will have to put in a lot of hard work. Teachers have to impart knowledge to the students who have to work hard to learn new methodology. Students have to understand the conceptual aspects of topics. Once this goal is achieved, we will surely reach the global standards. It is my fervent hope that our teachers and students will reach this milestone. I wish you all success in achieving your objective. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for those words of wisdom. We're very certain that we all are definitely going to learn something from your perspective on NEP 2020. Thanks a lot, sir. Today, we are here to pay rich tribute to the memory of Sri S.N. Ganjuji, our erstwhile General Secretary, the pioneer of this annual English debate. We have been organizing this competition for the last 18 years with great enthusiasm in his fond memory. Now, may I please request Mrs. Madhuri Mishra, HOD English, to pay tribute and respect to Sri S.N. Ganjuji. Over to you, Madhuri ma'am.
Thank you, Prachi ma'am. Happy greetings and a very good morning to all present here. On this momentous occasion, I extend a hearty welcome to the esteemed members of jury, reverend members of management, principals of our sister concerns, students and teachers of the participating schools, and all my dear students. I feel greatly honored and privileged for having been given the opportunity to apprise you about the Vishwa Bharati Women's Welfare Institutions and about the contribution of late Sri S.N. Ganju sir in this journey. I proudly proclaim that Vishwa Bharati Women's Welfare Institutions have acquired the status of premier institutions and are doing excellent job in the field of education under the mentorship of our learned and highly educated members of management. On April 1951, at Srinagar, whence this beautiful journey commenced, Vishwa Bharati Women's Institute was started in Kashmir Valley in the city of Srinagar at Ranawari. As a tiny kindergarten school with missionary zeal and dedication, the small school flowered its various wings as higher secondary school and degree college. The prime mission being to carry forward the noble efforts of its founding fathers of serving the society through teaching and research and to make the youth responsible citizens of tomorrow. Then the institutions were established in Jammu. The Vishwa Bharati College of Education, Jammu, was established in 1979, and Vishwa Bharati Higher Secondary School, Udaywala, Jammu, was established in 1992. These institutions aimed at the physical, intellectual, moral, ethical, aesthetic, and cultural development of the students under the guidance of dedicated staff members. Vishwa Bharati School, Noida, was established in 1889 with about 600 students, and today it has 4,000 plus students on its roll. School believes in imparting quality education with special emphasis on holistic development of the students. It is a member of the nation's progressive schools and is reputed for its excellent results, humility, and high moral values. Vishwa Bharati Public School, Greater Noida, is also a senior secondary school, a unit of Vishwabharati Women's Welfare Institution. It was founded in 2003 and is one of the leading institutions which provides a safe, tranquil, stimulating, and intellectually challenging environment suited to the learning needs of each pupil. Vishwabharati Public School Ghaziabad, affiliated to CBSE, was established in the year 2015. This school is in the heart of Ghaziabad and is spread in more than 2 acres of campus. It provides equal opportunities for the differently abled children through its inclusive setup and aims to eliminate prejudice and discrimination for developing an environment where all children are valued. The school is in a budding stage and is committed to the cause of enriching and empowering the lives of children, parents, and the community in its journey towards newer frontiers of learning. Last but not the least, the host school for today's momentous occasion, Vishwabharati Public School Dwarka. This is an English medium senior secondary school affiliated to CBSE. It was established in the year 1999 with the objective of imparting quality education and aims at preparing the future generation to face the challenges of the dynamic world order. The greatest strength of the Vishwabharati institutions lies in the true community spirit that exists with the management, staff, students, parents, and all our well-wishers. Our objective is to mold and help the individuals to grow and develop into a socially accepted and morally upright human beings, free to make his or her choices in life. Thank you. It is said that greatness lies not in being strong, but in the right use of strength and power. And strength is not used rightly when it serves only to carry a man above his fellows for his own solitary glory. He is the greatest, whose strength carries up the most hearts by the attraction of his own. Such was the great soul, late Sri S.N. Ganju. Today is the momentous occasion for our school as we are paying tribute to the memory of Sri S.N. Ganju sir. Sri S.N. Ganju was the General Secretary and a father figure to Vishwabharati institutions. Having served the institutions for more than 30 years, he left behind a legacy of wonders created to fulfill dreams of imparting quality education to the girls in Kashmir Valley and children in general in the rest of the country. Right from the inception, he spearheaded the growth of Vishwabharati institutions and was the guiding light who brought the schools in various parts of the country to its present pristine glory. This great visionary who insisted on excellence has left behind words etched on every staff and student's mind. He had been one of the pioneers of this annual English debate, and since his sad demise, the debate is dedicated to him. Every year, all the branches of this prestigious institution look forward to organize this momentous occasion. Now, the stage is all set, the platform is all ready, the contestants are also ready. Let us hear what they have to articulate on today's topic. The topic today being NEP 2020. Will it propel India to global standards? That's a big question. Let's hear from them. Thank you, and over to you, Prachina. Over to you, Prachi ma'am.
Don't do that. Why you should know this?
Madhuri ma'am. What a prominent persona is for you all. I'm sure that you'll put your best foot forward, and no matter you win or not, you know Thank you, Madhuri ma'am, once again. Thank you so much, Madhuri ma'am. Dear orators, today is your day. We all are here for you all. I'm sure that you'll put your best foot forward, and no matter you win or not today, you know you're capable of great success ahead. Today, you'll leave this platform with some lessons for sure, whether you win or you lose. From every opportunity, we love to grow stronger and a better version of ourselves, and we spring back stronger. Always remember this, dear participants. On this note, I would like to invite Prachi and Pradanya from class 11 to take charge of the proceedings. Over to you, Pradanya and Prachi.
Resilience and adaptability is what has made humans sustain and survive through ages. Debating has moved out of auditoriums and stages to an online platform, and we are proud to host today's online debate. Today, 10 teams are here to put forth opposing notions and viewpoints with logical consistency, factual accuracy, and required degree of passion and vehemence. The motion set before the House today is NEP 2020. Will it propel India to global standards? But before we begin with the proceedings of the debate, let me introduce you all to our learned and seasoned judges. We are privileged to have with us our first judge, Dr. Ajay Sharma Shastri sir, former principal of DPS Society, Bahag, and he was former resource person with CBSE, NCRT, and DPS Society. He is also the academic director of 2020 CBSE affiliated schools, and he is also the academic advisor of the UGC recognized university. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. Our second judge for today is Ms. Anjana Sapru. Anjana Sapru is a well-known figure in the book publishing world. She has worked with international publishing houses in Singapore, UK, and India. She also headed the book division of ABP before relocating to Singapore 2012. Thank you so much, ma'am, for a benign presence. Moving on to our third judge. Our third judge for today is Ms. Sunitha George. She is currently working in Bechtel India Private Limited as Control Systems Engineer. It's my immense pleasure to share with you all that she was an ex-student of our school. She has studied LKG to 12th from Vishwabharati Public School, Dwarka. She passed 12th in batch of 2016 and has also won the SN Ganju Excellence Award for the session 2015-16. She has also completed her BTech from Netaji Subhash Institute of Technology in batch of 2020. And she will be pursuing Masters of Engineering from Concordia University, Canada, starting January 2022. Thank you, ma'am, for coming.
Thank you for the introduction.
As the grace of man is in the mind, so the beauty of the mind is elegance. So today, we will witness our debaters who will express the beauty of their mind with the grace of words. But before we proceed with the debate, I would like to apprise you all with the rules of the debate. Rules and regulation of the debate. This competition is open for the student of classes 9th to 12th. Each participating team will comprise of 2 speakers, one for the motion and other against. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to speak on the topic. The first warning bell will be rung after 2 minutes 30 seconds, after which speaker is advised to conclude the debate. Ma'am, can we have a demo of the warning bell, please? Exceeding the time limit will be liable for negative marking. Each participant will be asked one question after the completion of his or her speech by the judges. The participant will be given 1 minute to answer the question. This 1 minute will be clocked in as soon as the question is asked. There will be no cross-questioning. The speaker must not speak out their school name anytime during the debating session. No speaker is allowed to read out from the script or from screen. The debaters will be judged on the basis of presentation, content, expression, confidence, fluency, and judges' question round. Winner shall be as follows: Best Speaker for the motion, Best Speaker against the motion, and the best team. The decision of the judges will be final and binding. On this note, let's start our SN Ganju Memorial Interschool English Debate Competition. I would like to call participant with code A1, Riha Sohal, to come and present her views.
Sure. Thank you so much. Please tell me when I can begin.
Yeah, you can begin.
Okay. Thank you. So the dawn of 29th July 2020 witnessed a new beginning for India. This was the day the Union Cabinet approved of the NEP 2020 and changed the future of crores of students. And even according to our favorite diplomat, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, this excellent policy will redefine education and will propel us to global standards. The NEP 2020 has a revolutionary division of education structure. From the old and obsolete 10 plus 2, we have now moved on to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, which is consistent with global standards. Mind you, this is the first time ever our government has acknowledged the importance of pre-primary education beginning from age 3. The NEP is focused on developing learning competencies right from the pre-primary, equipping students with 21st century knowledge and skills, and preparing our youth to not just become proud Indians, but global citizens. And in this day and age, data is the new oil. And what is better than students learning how to code right from class 6th? Yes, you heard that right. Programming will be inculcated in the school curriculum. The universal implementation of this policy won't just benefit students coming from a good background, but will build a strong background for all. Another stark feature of the policy is that students will no longer be divided in humanities, commerce, and science streams, but will be given the free choice to choose any of the subjects they like. The unfulfilled desire of our parents who couldn't choose chemistry with pol science, we will fulfill. And I'm sure that the older generation is awfully jealous of this progressive change. Now, if I were to survey the student population and ask them their biggest complaint with the current system, they would unanimously answer exams. The ever growing problem of rote learning and lack of practical application has hindered the heights our students can achieve. But under the NEP, no annual examinations will be held. Instead, the focus would shift to higher order thinking skills, which is a revamped version of the Finland education system, which is one of the best in the world. Coming back to the practical approach of learning, Ivy League colleges like Harvard not only demand academic excellence, but also a stellar record of extracurricular activities. Under the NEP, students would be given exposure right from class 6 in vocational training and internships, also dismantling the social hierarchy associated with it. I would like to conclude by saying passion and excellence are created, never gifted. And under the right guidance, we will no longer have to lose millions of childhoods due to the poor meaning assigned to intelligence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear participant. This was participant A1 speaking for the motion. May I request Ms. Anjana Sapru ma'am to put up a question to code A1.
Hello, Ria. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, loved your confidence. Wanted
Thank
to say
you.
that. One portion that you didn't touch on was the language trap. The NAP has a big language trap. It focuses on the regional languages and does not make it compulsory for the English. What do you think about that?
Yes.
Tell me.
What I think of that is it's connecting us to our roots. So it is not just one student who is propelling to the global standards, but it is the country as a whole. It is India. It is our culture. It is our heritage. So I feel it is a very important aspect of NEP 2020, which is to include regional languages. That is my
Good.
answer. Thank you.
Very good answer. Thank you.
So now I would like to call participant with code A2, Parisa Mehta, to speak against the motion.
Am I audible?
Yes, beta.
Yes, you are.
Also, with the first participant, we couldn't really hear the warning bell. So, is it possible if you can play it a little louder when I'm speaking, so that I'm just sure that I don't lose my
Sure.
Thank you. While the student population of our country was so enamored by the ever so progressive new education policy, let me take a few minutes to explain why it won't propel us to global standards. Let me start by laying down a few changes that the NEP 2020 plans on changing. The renaming of the Ministry of Human Resource and Development, a 3% increase in the expenditure for education, holding board exams for 5 classes and not 2, the inculcation of mother language and Sanskrit into the main syllabus, and finally the change in division laying more focus on primary education. Let's break this down step by step. All of these wonderful changes are going to be implemented by the year 2040, and by then the current standard of global education, which is already at a much higher stature than ours, will reach new heights, so we will still be far behind. Owing to the COVID-19 pandemic, the expenditure for education went down last year, which inspires very little confidence of it going back up in the coming few years. All of us happily read the line where it stated that there won't be one single examination for the junior classes. But we missed out the line there where it stated that there will be 5 board years and not 2. 2 board years is scary enough, but 5 in your entire student life will give students nothing but extra pressure, therefore depriving them of the time to explore other avenues of their interests. Global standards of education that we're talking about here are not just breaking their curriculums to more practical versions, but also trying to give a student more space to figure out their likes and dislikes. In our focus, we're currently focusing on rote learning and passing exams so much, and the NEP 2020 won't be able to change that for the next 20 years. And COVID times have taught us nothing but the fact that one single year can change so much. Coming to the languages, in most states, the mother tongue or the official language of the state is taught to all students until a specific time period, and then they're given a choice between Hindi and the regional language. And even if it isn't, a policy to force students to learn a regional language along with Sanskrit is not only unconstitutional, but also just connecting us to our roots and not springing us further in the future. Forcing students to learn their mother tongue and to shift their entire education to Hindi is awfully unfair and undemocratic to the non-Hindi speaking states. One of the most important points everyone failed to realize is that we're a lower middle income country, and the percentage of our population with access to technology is very sparse. As glamorous as this policy sounds, it does not cater to all stratas of the society. There is so much envisioned for technological growth, yet such less planning to get all communities access to the internet. To boil it down to a single sentence, this policy has great visions, but very less planning on the implementation and very less scope to push us further in the future. Rather, it's connecting us to our history. We must realize that this policy does not promise great change practically, yet it theoretically makes us feel that it will. Thank you.
Not bad.
Thank you, Code A2. Now, I would request Dr. Ajay Sharma, sir, to put up a question for Code A2.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Pasi. It is Parisa?
Parisa, yes, sir.
Parisa, okay. Parisa, glad to hear you out, bete. You have wonderfully highlighted the salient features of the NEP 2020, but here's a correction. What you said is 5 board years.
Yes, sir.
So I would like to correct it. There are no 5 board years in NEP 2020. There's only 1 board year. In fact, it has reduced. Now you have 2 board years. It has only 1 board year now. So the only board year that you talk about, like say after grade 2 and grade 5, grade 8, and maybe grade 10. These will not be board years. These are assessment examinations. Public examination. What you call is board examination is a public examination these days. Okay. These are assessment examination wherein these are transitory classes. I would take you, before I put my question, rather it is a correction to your point is that it is not a burden. It is an assessment of the child's academic learning from the various transition stages. Grade 2 to grade 3, grade 5 to grade 6, grade 8 to grade 9, and then grade 10 to grade 11. In fact, with these public examinations going, the assessment going, in fact, you must have been informed, must have been knowing that this year, the first national assessment survey has already taken place. Are you aware of this?
Yes, sir, I am.
National assessment survey. So the purpose of the survey is to have a sample size now this time, and maybe from next year onwards, we are going to, the government of India is planning to conduct a nationwide exercise in order to assess the true learning capabilities of the children at these transitory levels. These will not be board examinations. A board examination these days are, these marks or grades are going to be with your life. No, these are only assessments, like you appear for your private examinations, SAT and TOEFL and all. Okay, so these are going to assessment examination wherein a child will be assessed on these parameters. It is not a board exam. In fact, the NEP 2020, instead of having 2, it will be only 1 now, only class 12 then later on. Okay, so here's a minor correction to you. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. I was not aware of that. Thank you.
Only grade 2 to 3, 5 to 6, from foundation to primary, primary to middle school, from middle school to secondary school, and secondary to senior secondary. At these stages, government is planning to hold a mass level examination, public examination, but these are assessment examinations. They are not going to affect your result by the way that may. These are not degree or diploma or certificate examination. They are going to be assessment examinations. Okay, so you take this examination and then it will help the parents, it will help the schools, it will help the children to understand their learning, and it will not affect them, academically. These certificates will not have much meaning, right?
Right, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, your question?
No, that was my question only. It was my correction to you only. Okay, my question was that, see, once you say it is board years, so my correction was these are not board years.
Okay, sir. So the current examination that we're going to be taking is going to be examination, but with a different name, right?
These are assessment examinations. These are not public examinations.
But examinations nonetheless.
No, understand. Examination is these are assessments. Assessments is to help. Assessments is help to understand the learning of the child. Assessment is done to help the parent. Assessment is to help the teachers and the school at large. So this was my correction to you, to your information also, and my question for that matter.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Code A2.
Now I would like to call participant with code B1, Gauri Singh, to come and present her views.
Good morning. I hope I'm visible and audible.
Yeah, you are.
Greetings. This is Gauri Singh, code B1, hereby in favor of the motion. With the criticism of our education system, the Indian education system being called the culprit by every person who is unsatisfied with their professional life, the new education policy of India emerged as a knight in the shining armor. As an 11th grader myself, I was put into the very situation to pick amongst the three streams, which is commerce, science, and humanities, each of which has a certain set of subjects, and on the basis of these particular subjects, the future of my career would be designed. You see what the situation did to us? It made us bound to be picking subjects which may or may not suit us. What if PCM to me isn't supposed to be physics, chemistry, maths? What if my PCM stands to be psychology, chemistry, maths? This freedom of choice is respected in NEP 2020. The students are free to choose out of the subjects of their preference, of their caliber. And not only will this help them in learning their subjects, but also to master it, to possibly reach global levels. Because interest and proper knowledge is what we teens call a killer combination. Moving on, have you ever had moments in life where you're just scrolling through social media and your mom walks in and tells you to better get studying or else you'd end up being one of those carpenters, electricians, plumbers? Well, the same happened to me, and the 12-year-old me got instantly studying out of fright that, oh dear God, forgive thy child for the sin of watching Instagram reels, and please don't let me be a receptionist. It was over the years I realized that was that even a threat? Because there's this common misconception among us Indians which consider these professions as demeaning, ignoring the fact that these professions need just as much as knowledge, skill, and respect like any other. I definitely wouldn't want to be a wealthy engineer who'd invite someone over to my house because I'm unable to fix a light bulb. The new policy introduces vocational training courses in its curricula, which is not only training but internship opportunities for these life skills are also to be provided. Be it bagless periods, be it focus on coding, which evolved as a whole new essential concept, what not. And that's the whole point. Times have changed, technologies have changed. And how can we go on about this change without having a positive update about our learning system? The topic of the day: will the new education policy propel to global standards? I deeply apologize for the counter questioning, but do you think that the traditional education system will be able to keep up with the new generation? With the previous system providing a mere 3% of the country's GDP towards education, NEP offers a much needed raise to 6%, considering education being the foundation of a country's development. Self-evaluation came out as a concept introducing introspection, critical thinking, and decision making, putting us into practical situations and allowing ourselves to analyze our overall performance. And what I think to be the best part of them all is multiple entry exit system. So no, Susie, you did not waste 2 years of your life pursuing the degree that doesn't fit your liking. You can exit, take credit points of your course, and transfer it to the course you wish to be applying for. It is all your decision, and the minimalism of rote learning and memorization will definitely help us to focus on what really matters to us and our professions. So winding up, we see a future, we work towards it. We remember a past, we reminisce it. But speaking of the present, we live it and perfect it. The new policy has all that it takes to not only make India reach global standards, but provide us with enough leg room to bring out our best individual selves. So we have finally occurred to a point where we can decide what we wish to be and build ourselves and not go by what Sharma ji ka beta did. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear participant. This was participant B1 speaking for the motion. May I request Ms. Anjana Sapru ma'am to put up a question to code B1?
Hi. Hi, Gauri.
Morning, ma'am.
Okay, loved your very quirky presentation.
Thank
you. Well said. But do you actually feel that the NEP is over ambitious? I mean, given the fact that they lack the financial power to implement this across the country. I mean, we're a very big country talking about. So what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, ma'am, there is nothing possible without an ambition. I mean, every person must have a high ambition to at least reach to the level. If we will have low ambitions with life, I don't think we'll be able to achieve any of it. So having high ambitions for India, which is taking an example of the GDP, they doubled it. The 3% contribution is now 6%, which is actually ambitious, but I think if we are aiming for 6%, we'll at least reach 4 or 5. So aiming high would definitely be a plus pointer.
I totally agree. But you should always aim high in life, whether it's in academics, whether it's in sports, whether it's in your leisure activities. I think you should always have a standard. Well said. Good, Gauri.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Code B1.
So now I would like to call participant with code B2, Sambhav Gupta, to present against the motion.
Am I visible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Going global help countries to earn revenue, explore more opportunities, and improve reputation. And in today's world, being global is as important for a country as an audience is for a speaker. But wait, something is hindering it. Greetings to the respected judges, teachers, and all the delegates present here. Today, I, Sambhav Gupta of class 11th, am going to share my views on the topic National Education Policy. Will it propel India to global standards? Against the motion. National Education Policy, called NEP for short, is a policy formulated by the Indian government which outlines the vision of India's new education system and tries to promote education in India. But in my opinion, more than promoting, it will deteriorate the current system and will surely come as a hindrance for India to go global. It has a lot of negatives and will act as a barrier for the nation to develop. The first and the biggest obstruction is the language policy stated. According to the NEP, students till class 5th and preferably till class 8th would be taught in their mother tongue, home language, or regional language. Especially in a country like India, where there is acute teacher shortage, providing quality education in regional language would be a big challenge. And if they are successful in finding qualified teaching staff, it would be nearly impossible to deliver the textbooks in regional languages. Because in India, more than 19,500 languages are spoken as mother tongues. Also, shifting of students from one state to another will be a big problem. For instance, a child staying in Gujarat who had been taught in Gujarati till date has to shift to Maharashtra for a personal reason. So how will he adjust in Maharashtrian schools where the mode of education is Marathi? Another big barrier will be the English language. We all know that English is a widely accepted global language which is very important to learn and be fluent in if one wants to set up in another country. If students will be taught in their regional languages till class 8, it is very obvious that they will face a big challenge while communicating with other people all around the world, which again questions globalization, as clear communication is a very important step to achieve. Another concern is the 4-year graduation program put forward by the NEP. It gives a lot of advantages to those students also who quit their studies in 1 or 2 years. And so there's no point of keeping a 4-year graduation program. Also, I would like to say that students from low income background will quit their studies after 1 or 2 years and then also get jobs, which is very wrong because first, it will instill a quitting habit among the students, which will not allow them to prosper in the further life. And secondly, if they'll not complete their courses, they will not be that much skilled to compete with other big and global companies. At last, I would like to thank the judges for giving me this opportunity to express my views on the topic, and I believe that the concerned authorities should either take back or amend the new education policy 2020 so that India can also meet global standards.
Thank you, Code B2. Now I would request Ms. Sunita George to put up a question for B2.
Hi, Sambhav.
Hi.
That was a good speech. I respect your views. So you spoke about how the NEP 2020 should not be implemented, right? So this has been replacing a 34-year-old policy, right? This has been replacing a 34-year-old policy. So from the last line, picking up from the last line that you said, do you feel it should be abolished or should it be replaced? So do you think it should be replaced by providing some amendment, or do you think we should go back to the 34-year-old policy?
I believe that it should be replaced, but with quite a few amendments, because the old 34-year policy was also not that much good, and this also has a lot of negatives. Like this, I will not say that whenever a policy is formulated, it has some advantages, some disadvantages. This policy is also good. Like it has advantage that it has grown up the GDP for education from 3% to 6%. But seeing the disadvantages, they are a lot more in number than the advantages. So I feel that if we do some amendments in the new education policy, it would be a great way to it would be a great platform for the students for develop in life.
Okay, good, good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Code B2.
Now I would like to call participant with C1, Vanchi Goel, to come and present her views.
The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet, is a great quote said by Aristotle. Greetings to one and all present here. Today I'm going to propose a motion in front of the House, that is, new education policy. Will it propel India to global standards? Something about the new education policy. It was approved by the Union Cabinet of India on 29 July 2020, and it outlines the vision of India's new education system. It replaces the National Education Policy of 1986. So with this, we can say that, yes, we are revolutionizing our education system. We are upgrading it, which is much needed. When we often see that in our computers, in our laptops, we are upgrading each and every system, each and every app in either few months or years. It has been more than 34 for our education system. So why shouldn't we? Its aim is to universalize the education from preschool to senior level with 100% gross enrollment ratio by the year 2030. It changes the pedagogical structure of a 10 plus 2 system to a 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 system, in line with the international education system. Since the system is internationally accepted, we know that the students will be able to get a much better education because they'll get better admissions in better colleges, which will help them in getting better jobs. Now, the National Education Policy, it also allows technical institutes such as IIMs and IITs to become multidisciplinary, which means that they'll be include or be able to start other departments as well, which means more students will be able to get admission, more knowledge will be departed. Isn't that one of the main motives of education system? One of the main importance of teaching? It will also enable the Indian students to compete with elite education. Diversification of education makes it more complete and helps increase our own intellectual outcome. Now, we can actually say that, yes, it is made in accordance with the global education system. And when we say that, don't we answer the question asked? Yes, we do. We answer the question that, yes, it will propel India to global standards. Here, I would like to rest my case on a quote by Victor Hugo, that he who opens a school door closes a prison. Thank you.
Thank you, Code C1. Now I would request Ms. Anjana Sapru ma'am to put up a question.
Hi, Vashi. Vashi, I would like to say that I would like to ask you something because you emphasize a lot about the regional language teaching. Are you aware that most households that have English, as their first language, as in they studied in an English medium school and all subjects in English, they earn 3 times more than somebody who probably has been into a regional school, to a regional madrasa regional school. So what do you think? Do you think that this policy, I feel personally that this policy should be left to the schools to decide because what the parents want? Do you think this should be part of a policy?
Greetings, ma'am. First, I would like to say that the policy should be left to be decided by the students whether they want to or not. But one of the main importance is that in today's time, we are always running to learn new languages, such as English being the common one. Then we have Spanish, French, German, and whatnot. But we often forget the roots of our own culture, the roots which are binded together and are glistening with glory. So if students will learn these regional languages, it will help them connect to their own cultural values, which they often forget in the rat race of today. Thank you.
True to an extent, but I would also say that you should always keep your mind open. Your route should be able to propel you to accept other languages, other job requirements, and other cultures as well. It's not just your own culture. So if you respect your own culture, you respect other cultures as well. You've got to keep your mind open. I think Gandhiji said, keep the windows open so that the knowledge can flow in. So I do feel that there should be a balance, especially in the policy, and that it's the schools that should decide whether they should be regional or they should have English as the medium of teaching. But good presentation. Thank you, Vashi.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Code C1.
So now I would like to call participant with code C2, Shreen Sharma.
Very good afternoon to one and all present here. I'm Shreen, and today I'll be talking about the national education policy and if it will propel India to global standards. And I will be strongly opposing the motion today. The national education policy sounds very synonymous to national exclusion policy, doesn't it? It has been phrased as building upon India's traditions and value systems and adds that the rich heritage of ancient and eternal Indian knowledge has been a guiding light for this policy. A lot more than reflecting on a good past, I believe this policy is inclined towards the gloomier and uglier past. That of number 1, exclusion. Number 2, obsession. And number 3, our favorite, privatization. Let's talk in depth about exclusion. The NEP is based on baseless assumptions and hierarchy. For instance, the NEP talks a lot about curriculum distribution and a lot about accessibility, providing solutions like downloadable textbooks and PDFs. What we fail to see, dear audience, is that only 28% of the adults in this nation have proper access to smartphones and internet. So who exactly is this approach helping? The privileged to access? Speaking from a place of privilege, I believe I'm already helped. Furthermore, wouldn't we all love to live in a nation without disparities? Page 19 serves the emotion there. Again, of this taste, it only talks about gifted students and not about how they could amplify these talents. And to add on to that, Ministry of Education, let's stop valuing aptitude over attitude. The concept of gifted students again pushes forth your idea of non-inclusivity. While I do not mean to make this a conversation about attitude and aptitude, I think we can all agree how much contribution or even ill contribution this concept has had in our childhoods. There is no word about reservation in the 60-page document, no provision for reservations in either admissions or appointments. They club it all as underprivileged sections and nothing to distinguish the Adivasis, Dalits, women, and minorities, forgetting that reservation exists in this country because discrimination does. Also, talking of global standards, when will we exactly be able to reach these standards is the question. When foreign universities and tech cats are willing to be here. However, it is extremely unlikely in the scenario that this will become reality. That foreign universities, much less high-ranked ones, will set up global editions in India. And the answer is because of finance. Our economy is rather shook right now. So how can it be a prospect at the moment? It took 60 years to make education a fundamental right through the Right to Education Act, which was passed in 2010. And this policy again seems rather too regressive to even be here in its successiveness. And with that, I would like to rest my case here, stating that the new policy is definitely a regressive one and does not work in our favor. Thank you.
So that was code C2. Now I would request Mr. Ajay Sharma, sir, to put a question for code C2.
Good afternoon, Shreen.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Good presentation. It seems to be that you are not liking this NEP. Very regressive in terms of the approach. So when we say it is exclusive and not inclusive, and based upon your assumption that it is not talking about any reservation for any specific caste or community, my question to you is that besides this exclusion principle that you are highlighting, what make you feel that it is a regressive document and it is not going to propel the education standards of the country? Just any one reason, good reason, which tells you that why it is not going to help the country. One reason.
Definitely. So, firstly, since you asked me for some reasons, I would like to highlight some bullet points and then just kind of exaggerate on them. Number one, I talked about aptitude over attitude. I believe some of the former people who spoke here talked about how we have to choose streams and then, genuinely get caught in this vicious circle, and this system kind of puts that forth, because here we always value aptitude over attitude. So instead of helping children who have the attitude to finally achieve something, we're only pushing the ones with aptitude, which happen to be a less number. So that would be my first reason. And the second one would, I think, Miss Anjana talked about multilingualism, right? Multilingualism, how could it possibly help us when children who would want to opt for the easier path, they would choose English languages like Hindi, Sanskrit, and maybe a regional language. So here we're just choosing the easier path instead of the one that could help us. So that would be the two core reasons that I also feel that the policy is to my distaste.
Okay, so here, okay, although you answered to your knowledge, but here just a correction to you. Number one, as far as linguistic skills are concerned, dear child, the research says that human memory, human brain, it works on the principle of hysteresis, retentive and cursive principles. In other way, in simple words, the human brain retains the information that it learns or it receives, it perceives through its mother tongue. And it is a research proven fact. In simple way, in other words, what the government has done this in NEP is, it is not made it mandatory. It is not compulsory for any state government or any school or any agency to have it mandatory that to teach in regional languages, although the facility to teach and learn in regional languages has been explored. In other words, that the government is wanting to promote learning on the basis of regional languages. Sometime back, there's a boy who suggested a question like, a child shifts from Gujarat to from Gujarat to Maharashtra, and how he'll be able to understand or how he'll be able to accustom to that new syllabi. So the government is only advocating, it is only promotion. It is not mandatory at all, which in simple way that, let's say you have a child who is studying in a very remote area of the country where good English language teachers are not available, and the child by all means has access to regional language teachers who can transact the curriculum in regional languages, which in other way, this is only going to help, which means learning should not be stopped, and there has not to be any discrimination based on learning, based on language. English is a foreign language to you, to me, but unfortunately English, after so many years of centuries, and it has become to us that we are all debating in English. Why not Hindi now? This debate, why we have kept in English medium, because you know English more than France, Germany, or any good country where developed nations who take pride in their own language. This is highly unfortunate that in India, we do not have any national language till date. Even Hindi is not a national language. We do not have any language which unifies this nation. And therefore, the access of learning has been made, the promotion, the government has come up with the policy wherein state languages, regional languages have been made a medium to learn. That's all. So there, you please correct your connotation first. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay sir. I would take up the opportunity to thank you especially for enlightening all of us. Rather, I think none of us were so well versed with NEP the way you are. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ajay Sharma, sir, and thank you, Code C2.
Now I would like to call participant with code D1 Muskan to come and present her views.
I hope I'm audible and visible clearly.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So, education is a fundamental for achieving full human potential, developing an equitable and just society, and promoting national development. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Muskan, code D1, and today I'll be speaking for the motion. As you all are totally aware that recently many changes have been introduced in the academic system of India, starting from school to college level. New national education policy has been approved by the Union Cabinet, reflecting all the necessary changes. This newly approved plan talks about the major transformational reforms in the Indian academic sector, which are appreciated by many. Along with appreciation, there is also criticism, which focuses on the drawbacks of the new education policy. The government aims to make schooling available to everyone with the help of NEP 2020. Approximately 2 crore school students will be able to come back to educational institution through this new approach. Also, according to NEP, 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure will be replacing the existing 10 plus 2 structure. This structure is focused on students' formative years of learning. This 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure corresponds to age groups from 3 to 8, 8 to 11, 11 to 14, and from 14 to 18. 12 years of schooling, 3 years if Anganwadi and preschooling are included in this structure. Also, according to this, the Education Ministry is to set up a national mission on foundation literacy and numeracy. The responsibility for successful implementation for achieving the foundation numeracy and literacy for all the students till class 3 falls upon the states of India. This implementation is scheduled to be done by 2025. Appropriate authorities will conduct the school examination for grades 3, 5, and 8. The board exams for grades 10 and 12 will continue, but NEP 2020 aims to redesign the structure with holistic development. Also, special daytime boarding schools, Bal Bhavans, are to be established in each and every state or district in India. This boarding school will be used for participation in activities related to play, career, art, etc. According to NEP, an academic bank of credit will be established. The credits earned by the students can be stored, and when the final degree gets completed, those can be counted. Now, I would like to conclude by saying that with the introduction of NEP 2020, many changes have been made, and one of those is the discontinuation of MPhil courses. Even though there are many drawbacks in the new education policy, the merits are more in number. It is believed by many that by implementing these changes, the Indian academic system will be taken a step higher. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear participant. This was participant D1 speaking for the motion. Now may I request Ms. Anjana Sapru ma'am to put up a question to code D1.
Hi, Muskan. Muskan, you very interestingly mentioned that a lot of the students are going to come back that are not in the system now. Can you explain to me how a policy can actually make a student who can't afford money or doesn't have the money or whose parents make him work? How is the policy going to actually affect his decision to be able to come back to school or his circumstances?
Okay, ma'am. So first, I would like to say that, ma'am, you also know the regional languages which are not being included right now. Ma'am, so some of the parents, ma'am, some of the students, they may don't want to study because they don't know appropriate English, or ma'am, they don't have the particular faculty for that to make them learn that language. So, ma'am, like the parents, when they, ma'am, this policy, ma'am, mainly focuses on improving the Indian education system right now. Right, ma'am, Indian education system, which is not very well right now. Or, ma'am, some of the students, they are not interested in learning the particular language or particular subject, ma'am. So I think with the introduction of this new system, there are many new subjects which are being added right now. So there may be some of the new subjects or the regional languages which the child is being interested right now. So I think according to that, or ma'am, even there are many policies introduced by the government for the education of the child, like ma'am, till 14 years of age, this is a right of every student to study. So, ma'am, I think because of this, the many students will come back to school to complete their education or the complete the necessary education.
Actually, children have always had the right. Yes, they have raised the age group for the right, but children have always had the right to free education. But circumstances on the ground are very different. And when you go to school, you can't say, I don't want to learn this. Just like, having a lot of choice, like you said, there are new subjects, so there's new choices. But you can't say, I don't want to learn coding, so I don't want to go to school. That's the whole idea of going to school, is to put structure in your life. So I really think that the policy should focus on, being able to give free lunches and things like that, to be able to entice kids from lower. I don't think anybody ever thinks about it from the lower middle class, kind of background, or even the children along the poverty line. Ones who can't afford to eat, how are they going to go to school?
Yes,
School
ma'am.
will
Like
not
in
be-
Anganwadi, ma'am, they are given like
Yes.
proper lunch. So, ma'am,
Yes,
that would
and
maybe
proper
interest the
lunch and
students.
proper taking care of their health and things like that. Those are the things that I felt that the policy should have been focused on as well, apart from all the other good things that it has done. Definitely. Okay. But good show. Thank you, Muskan.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Code D1.
So now I would like to call participant with code D2, Ananya Dubey, to speak against the motion.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Pleasant greetings to all the judges, teachers, and participants here. On behalf of the Code D2, I will be presenting my argument against the topic. Education put in action is what remains after one has forgotten what one has uncovered in school. Today, before you, I shall present a sequence of realities that is going to confirm that the new education policy 2020 is not eligible to propel India into a future where it will be qualified to conform to global ideals. One of the biggest problems in the Indian education system is that the teacher to student proportionality in the country is extremely low and poor. Moreover, the curtain raiser of mother speeches for different languages by NEP 2020 and discovering a skilled teacher fluent in the respective mother tongues with an ample awareness rooted in that subject can turn out to be a huge task for any educational institution. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about education, we somewhere talk about equal opportunities open for all sections of society. Without building up much, an important problem presented by this policy is that the students of private schools will be acquainted with English at a much earlier age than those of government schools, as the syllabus of government schools will be in their respective regional language, which is a problem as this will increase the number of students embarrassed in communicating in English and widen the void between different sections of society. I somewhere heard that education is to breed confidence and give hope, and that is clearly not the case here. Apart from that, ever since the implementation of this policy, details on how the universities will change their courses have not been explained or decided yet. To quote Prithvi Datta Chandrashobi, Associate Professor of History, Kanya University, it is not clear whether the implementing agencies, universities, or colleges possess necessary competency or autonomy to redo the curriculum. Additionally, he said that it is not clear whether the students who would vacate the undergraduate courses after the first year certificate or the second year diploma would have integral proficiency for today's employment. Apart from all the aforementioned shortcomings, this policy expects attention to minute details and has many areas where it may run wrong. Hence, NEP 2020 may have many purposes as mentioned by my worthy opponent, but this newly developed education system has many loopholes and limitations in its implementation. Thus, I request the government to revise this policy to guide the Indian educational system globally, as the whole point of education is to turn glasses into windows and dreams into realities. With that, I rest my speech. Thank you for your time.
So that was code D2 speaking against the motion. Now I would request Ms. Sunita George to put up a question.
Hi, Ananya.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, good presentation.
Thank you.
But I would just like to question your view on the multilingualism point. So you talked about how it would lead to higher population of students being ashamed of not knowing English, right? Of not being able to converse in English, and they'll be more ashamed of the same, right? So this policy is also is also promoting our regional languages, right? So not just regional languages, but then other languages, like all the international languages, are also promoted. Plus, in addition to all these, the sign language will also be made available, right? So when you speak against multilingualism, it's not just against our own regional languages, but then it's also against all the choices that are being provided as part of this policy, right? So do you still think that a choice for the language should not be given? Because it's not compulsory. They're not going to push the students to just stick to Hindi, right? It's just a choice that's going to be given, so that more people are promoted to come join schools so they can understand and learn in their own language. So the barrier of language doesn't stand between them and the skill that they need to attain, right? So do you wish to change your view, or do you have a reply to that?
Thank you for your question, ma'am. So ever since the British rule in India, we believe that those who communicate in English are superior. So I respect the fact that we are bringing regional languages back to the country and people, motivating people to talk more in their regional languages. But the generation that is going to experience this change and the generation that comes just before it will not have this change, and we will prefer communicating in English more often. So those who are speaking in their regional language and the generation that has nothing to do with the regional language and who are educated in English, it will be a little unfair with those that who come forward, who come after us, that they're communicating in regional language. Because right now it's not just about the country, it's about setting the Indian educational system globally. So we are talking about global languages, and English is one of the most spoken languages in the world.
Good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Code D2.
Now I would like to call participant with code E1, Shiva Gupta, to come and present his views.
Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learnt in school. Honorable jury, fellow contestants and teachers, the topic before the house is NEP 2020. Will it propel India to global standards? Today, I, Shiva Gupta, stand before you to present my views for the motion. With the last national policy being framed in the year 1986, which was rectified in 1992, you've got to admit that this national policy has lost its effectiveness, and it would not be correct to follow this even today. That's why NEP 2020 has been approved by the Union Cabinet of India, as it focuses on holistic development of students rather than their academic development alone. This model is followed by many countries across the globe having the best education system. This holistic development will be achieved by reducing the curricular content to its core essentials and making space for critical thinking, analysis-based, discussion-based, and discovery-based learning. While the average global literacy rate stood at a solid 86%, India is still lagging behind on the 141th rank with only 77.7% literate population. Don't you agree that not all people in India get to educate their children in a fair way? While middle income families and rich people are educating their children, the children of backward families are left behind, and thereby pulling the dream of India becoming a superpower into darkness. That's why NEP 2020 aims to bridge this educational gap and create an India where every single child has equal opportunities to excel, learn, and enjoy quality education by creating gender inclusion funds and special education zones. Also, the Common Exams by Parak is a welcome change. It will be National Assessment Center for classes 3, 5, and 8 and will assess the skills that students ought to acquire by a certain age. It will also ascertain the quality of education. Last but not least, introduction of skill-based subjects at school level will create workforce in pipeline. If well implemented, the quality of demography in India will be way better than what it is today, and hence India will enjoy the benefits of skilled, productive, and educated workforce, which will definitely make its presence felt at global level, and hence NEP 2020 will propel India to global standards. Thank you.
So this was participant E1 speaking for the motion. Now may I request Ms. Anjana Sapru ma'am to put up her question to code E1.
Hi, Shiva.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good show. Okay, you talked a lot about the various things that you think will propel India to, global standards because of the policy.
Yes,
What is
ma'am.
the role? But you didn't touch upon the role of the teachers. I mean, at the end of the day, the implementation of the policy is what makes it successful or not. So, do you think that the teachers have a very big role to play in this?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, teacher has the main role to play in this policy. The as the Parak will conduct common tests, the teachers are the one who have to conduct these frequent tests to ensure the attainment of learning outcomes that students acquire.
Okay, but that's not the only. I mean, I don't think that just looking at the test is a role of a teacher. I mean, the role of a teacher is how to teach also, not just what to teach. Okay, just keep that in mind next time when you are, talking about the policy, because those who implement also must know how to.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Thank
Thank you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Code E1.
So now I would like to call participant with code E2, Amisha Rathore. Amisha Rathore, code E2.
Hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, you are.
Honorable jury, fellow contestants and teachers, the topic before the House, National Education Policy, will it propel India to global standards? I, Amisha Rathore, stand before you to present my views against the motion. Globally, English is the standard language. All the books of higher studies are written in this language, but the new education policy aims at teaching the curriculum in regional language. Won't it create a gap between the sections of the society? How will one reach the global standards with such limited scope? Schools are building citizens of the world, and our students should be equipped with the global standards. Our government tends to spend 6% of the GDP on education, which indeed is an ideal share. But in the previous years, the expedition was even less than 3% of the GDP. Now, this is a dramatic jump in such a short span, which will either lead to failure of the strategy or economic issues in the nation. National Assessment Survey was done on 12th November to assess the learning outcome of students at every stage to ensure that every child acquires certain abilities by a certain age. In the pursuit of reaching a common goal, aren't we lowering the standards? Now, this is the flip side of the system. Or, in other words, shall I say that the abilities of the brighter students may remain untapped, which means the teacher has to divide the class into average, below average, and above average categories. And uh, but is it feasible in a 35 to 40 minutes period? Should the education system not demand a certain standard when you are talking about the global standards? Well, skilling right from class 6 is an ambitious plan. But in a scenario where we do not have efficient teachers to teach the basics, appointing teachers to teach new skills is actually a far cry. And it is not the responsibility or the duty of schools to prepare a child for jobs. So, the school education must focus on how to clarify the doubts, collaborations, and enhance critical thinking of students. NEP allows students choice of subjects, but the fact is they are too young to decide and might end up making wrong combinations and regret it later. You will agree with me that subjects are interrelated and they are in a certain combination only to prepare one for a definite career in future. India is a developing country. There is a wide gap between its educational standards and those of the West. And the NEP 2020 allows India not to reach the global standards, and it won't help it. The India has to go a long way to be at par with the international standards in terms of infrastructure, reservations, education for all, government funded schools and colleges, and this never ending list goes on. So, with this, I would like to rest my case. Thank you.
So that was code E2 speaking against the motion. Now I would like Dr. Ajay Sharma sir to put up a question.
Good afternoon, Amisha.
Good afternoon, sir.
Spoke well. But again, I think we need to gain more information about the NEP. This is a very, very important document.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you any idea about who was the chairman of this draft committee, the NEP 2020?
Actually, no, sir.
Okay. The person's name is K. Kasturi Rangan. He was former chairman of ISRO, Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, and Padma Vibhushan.
Yes,
And
sir.
if you read about the other, there were a total 12 members of draft committee. If you read about their profile, you read about their contribution, then you'll gain a deeper insight of how things they have planned, right? Specifically
Yes.
taking a question, why I put up this question to you was about the multilingual aspect. And again, talking about the regional aspect of learning. There's one person named Michael Demino. He is the only person on the draft committee. He is actually a Indian person of French origin. So there are people who were, like Najma Akhtar is former chairperson of Jamia Millia Islamia University. Then we have, I think, Dave Tatimani. He was vice chairman of the National Tribal University. We read about people about who were there on the draft panel. Like Milind Kamble is currently the chairman of the Indian Institute of Management, Jammu. Professor M.C. Pant was chairman of the Chancellor of NEPA, National Institute of Education Planning and Administration. So these people, they after doing lot of research, after doing lot of dilly-dallying, after a lot of efforts, they put this into this drafting this NEP document, and specifically talking about the regional or multilingual learning aspect that you raised. My question to you be very specific. See, Japan, Germany, again France, China, Korea, these people, these countries, they are not advocating English at all. English, true, it is the foreign language, it is an international language, but these countries, they are getting more Nobel Prize in science. Their science and technology is far ahead than many of the South Asian countries, including India for that matter. And even then, why we are so hell-bent on going English after English? Why we are saying that English, if you don't study English, we will not be able to lead anywhere? Why is that so? Why you have this thing in your mind that if we are reading in English medium schools, if we are debating only in English, and if we are not reading English, we'll not be able to make out any career for ourselves? And coming to your point again, that with this NEP document, NEP only suggests that there will be a freedom of choice. True that the student may not know whether history and physics will be a right combination, but then history can be studied with biology, right? There is a branch called anthropology. You might not, I don't know whether you've heard it or not. Okay, there are multilinguistic, but there are multiple multi-science branches. So we do, this NEP document is such a versatile document that it gives you a freedom of reading multiple subjects at same time. Obviously, it will be the prerogative of the school, and it will be at the back and call of the parent also. Parent will also have a role to play. You people will also have a role to play to which subject you wish to study. But the government clearly says, if you wish to have music with history, if you want to study with physics with maybe Hindi literature, so these multiple career options are planned. So there is no, earlier we were all restricted to few subjects only, whether it was science or commerce or humanities. You have different studies coming up. In past 10 years or so, I don't know whether you are aware, there were subjects like it has been recently introduced, like biotechnology. You have entrepreneurship, right? You have legal studies, you have fashion studies, you have mass media. In fact, in past 4 or 5 years, CBSE has come up with so many skill subjects in terms of vocational subjects. So unless we start reading and exploring these new avenues, we'll not be able to think of a multilateral, multicultural developing India. And these so-called nations that I spoke just now, whether we talk about China, Japan, Korea and all, there the vocational education is on a different level, right at grade 6 level. India, we talk about, we are lagging behind. Our children, they do have graduation degrees. I've been interviewing for people for so long. I mean, we meet people with BTech degrees in hand, BTech CS and BTech IT electronics and all. But when we talk about right skills, they are, according to a NASACOM survey, 72% of Indian engineers, they are unemployable. The reason is that we are struggling with the right skill sets. So the NEP document is going to be a master stroke. It is going to be a master stroke as far as learning capabilities, as far as vocational and skill education is concerned. So we need to understand, yes, to debate, learn, and we need to understand more and more about this document. And please spend some time. I would request through you to all other participants of the this debate that after this debate gets over, please spend some time in reading about the honorable members of the draft committee to have a deeper insight about what kind of brains in India, what kind of brains the government they assign this task of preparing this kind of document, right? Thank you so
Yes,
much.
sir. So I would like to answer your question about the languages. It is not only English for India. The other countries like Japan and Korea, they do not have several regional languages. They only have one Japanese language. But in India, there are multiple regional languages. Now, what would one understand if everything was understood in a certain regional language? This was about the language, and for subjects, if I wish to study biology, but I'm having an interest in history also, so want the psychology be better, be for my betterment and not history. And in the career, my for my career, biology will go with psychology and not with history. Everyone knows that
No,
that is
again,
not.
I correct you, Amisha. It is not biology can go with psychology, history, Hindi for every subject. First of all science subjects are science. All subjects are science. We are speaking on a very limited note. You are speaking on a limited note, bete. If I ask you what is science, you'll not be able to understand what is science. Let's say if I ask you what is science, science is a collection of knowledge which can be subjected to experimentation and interpretation. So biology goes with psychology. This is what you have learned. This is what you know. But biology goes with history also. Biology goes with political science. Biology goes with sociology. You might not be knowing as at this tender age. This is what my say to you is. And coming back to your question again, Bete, when we talk about regional or multilingual aspect, too, Japan or China or France, these countries, they may not have multiple regional languages, but whenever this NEP document comes into picture, it clearly says that, let's say we talk about Gujarat, the document says that learning of a child should not be hampered if the child do not understand or exhibits much proficiency in English. If the child is able to learn in science and mathematics in Gujarati, let the child learn science through Gujarati, because eventually it is very much possible that the child may land up learning, getting a Nobel for the country, even by making some discovery, making some invention in Gujarati. So Gujarati is only a language. Language is only a medium to decipher the codes of science. Language is not the end. It is a tool. Language is a tool. It is only a medium of learning. So we may have n number of languages in India, but any part of the country you may be living, you are exposed to, besides English, either Hindi or one regional language. So the government has very, very clearly stated this. And once what I said is to you, all the members of this esteemed debate, after this debate gets over, it is a request in the evening hours, whenever you have time, spend some time in reading about the people, the top brains of this nation who are part of this draft committee. Then half of your doubts will get over, because these people, one of them is an American citizen, one of them is a French person, somebody is the Muslim, somebody is a Sikh, somebody is vice chancellor of a tribal university. People from diverse backgrounds, they have been put on this draft committee. They have applied a lot of mind, they have applied a lot of thought. And it is just like, bete, it is just like a patient is telling a doctor what line of diagnosis or what line of prognosis should a doctor should follow in order to treat the patient. Something like this. We all, even at this age, it is very easy for us to talk. But when we talk about in detail how they have planned, trust me, whatever little knowledge that I have about NEP is, I am very convinced that this document is going to be a master stroke. It is going to be a landmark document as far as turning. I would say this is going to be a turning stroke, a turning tide as far as the education parameter of this country is concerned. Okay. In any case, you at your age, whatever you said is all good show. Good show. Thank you so much. Good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. It is a pleasure listening to your views. Thank you, Code E2.
Now, I would like to call participant with code F1, Nehal Dubey, to come and present her views. Code F1. Code F1, Nehal Dubey. May I please call Nehal Dubey, code F1? So now we will move on to our next participant, G1, Maulik Garg, to come and present his views.
Am I audible?
Just a minute. Listen, there's a message from Nehal's side that the host is not allowing. Please allow her. Please allow Nehal Dubey.
Ma'am, we have allowed Nehal. She can unmute herself.
Given this message.
Yeah, we have already allowed.
Let's see to it. Yeah, she's here now.
Just a second. 1 minute.
This is Nehal Dubey, F1.
Okay. Am I audible? Wait. Okay. Hello, good morning, everyone. Am I audible and I'm visible?
Yes, you are audible and visible. You are audible, Nehal Dubey.
Actually, I cannot hear anyone from your side. Am I allowed to rejoin the meeting? I think there has been some glitch from
Yeah, you
the
can.
host side.
Yeah, you can. May I please call upon participant with code G1, Maulik Garg, to come and present his views?
Just 1 second.
May I please call participant G1, Maulik Garg?
Yeah, yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, sure. Greetings to honorable educator, member of the opposing team, and other candidates sitting here. I am Maulik, and I strongly believe that NEP 2020 will propel India to global standards. As you all know, getting proper basic education is the birthright of every individual as per the Indian Constitution. And the National Education Policy is the very first change after 1986 in an education system. The NEP 2020 is the reworking of the previous NEP of 1986, is the change of the entire system of education by new structural outlines. The policy majorly focuses on giving students choice regarding their education and enhancing teaching methods. This national education policy envisions an education system rooted in the Indian ethos that contributes directly to transforming India sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all and therefore enabling Indians to compete globally. The vision of the policy is to inspire among the learners a deep rooted pride in being Indian, not only in thought, but also in spirit, intellect, and deeds, as well as to develop knowledge, skills, values, and dispositions that support responsible commitment to human rights, sustainable development, and living and global well being, thereby reflecting a truly global citizen. This policy is a comprehensive set of recommendations for promoting online education consequent to the recent pandemic to ensure preparedness with alternative modes of quality education wherever or whenever traditional modes of education fails to do so. Furthermore, measures such as online courses and funding for research, improved student services, credit-based recognitions of mocks, etc., will be taken to ensure distance learning is at the par with the highest quality in-class programs. An autonomous body, the National Education Technology Forum, will be created to provide a platform for the free exchange of ideas on the use of technology to enhance learning, assessment, planning, and administration. The new education policy of India focuses on internationalization of education with a clear goal of making India a global destination. The NEP has started an ambitious roadmap for making higher education a reality by 2030. Internationalization of education will be facilitated through institutional collaboration, student and faculty mobility, and allowing entry of top world-ranked universities to open campuses in India. Hence, NEP will definitely propel India to global standards. With this, I would like to conclude that India's youth is its power, and the NEP 2020 ensures that the youth of India has access to higher levels of education. The NEP has underworked since 2016, and its sweet fruits will bear the tree of India's education system by 2040. Thank you.
So this was participant G1 speaking for the motion. Now may I request Ms. Anjana Sapru ma'am to put up a question to code G1.
Hi.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I somehow felt that you just read all the policy features, but you didn't really analyze any of them to see, how, and it would get it. Just reading the policy features or the policy clauses is not enough. So this is my question to you. Why do you think this policy focuses so much on the education of preschool children?
Ma'am, as I said, it's very important. Everyone should get education, and there is birthright of them. Ma'am, it's very important for preschool to learn every language, as it will definitely help them in their career lines and everything. Not only they should learn English, as well as they should learn German, Spanish, and everything.
Actually, I can't agree with you, because that's not the reason why the government is focusing on preschool. The government is focusing on preschool education so that when the kids actually get into primary, they have a cache of knowledge that helps them to then sail through the more difficult subjects, concepts that they will be facing. So they are creating a foundation and base for preschool schoolers before they actually go to the big school. So that is actually the reason why this particular policy has focused so much on early education. Okay, I think you need to go back and really study and analyze, and look behind why everything has been taken. Like Dr. Shastri was actually highlighting so many important facets of this policy, which are not evident when you just read them. Which I really appreciate his input actually. So you all should actually study more about the policy and go to the newspapers and read about the reviews and analysis and the opinions of various people, various very educated, academically experienced people, to understand the depth of this policy. Okay, thank you anyway, but a good presentation. Thank you.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, code G1.
So now I would like to call participant with code G2, Ankit Goswami.
Am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Am I audible? Okay, thank you. Johnny, हाँ पापा, पंचसारा कधी कुणांतो, लेदू नाना, झूठम बोले छे, ना बाबा, तुमचे टोन ढुगड़ा, ha. It might sound beautiful, but is it comprehensible? I assume not. Is it reaching the global standard? I again assume not. But this is exactly what National Education Policy 2020 is making our education system look like. In the later half of my speech, I'll tell you exactly how. The proposition believes that it will propel us to global standards, but let me tell you how exactly it will not. Bifurcating the global standards, we get three major standards, and the NEP stands on none. The first standard is content standard, where the students know what they're learning and can have interdisciplinary learning. Now imagine giving a sports bike and a scooty to a 12-year-old girl to drive. What will she want to choose? The sports bike. But what will she end up choosing? The scooty. Not only because she's forced to choose it, but because she's conditioned to choose it. The second standard is process standard, where the students learn basic life skills. And what is the most basic life skill we all need? Communication. According to the NEP, all languages are optional, which means that if a student does not choose English as one of their subjects, language becomes a barrier when trying to communicate with people outside India. Did I say outside? Oh, pardon me. English is important for Indians, not only to communicate with foreigners, but with ourselves too. English is the only mean of communication between North and South Indians. The third standard is value standard, where students learn important life values such as equality. And the NEP is very inclusive, so it decided to not even mention non-binary genders. Now, here is an argument against the idea of teaching in mother tongue. Imagine an 8-year-old whose father gets transferred from Delhi to Mumbai. Can you imagine how difficult it would be for the child to grasp concepts and communicate? And as a cherry on the top, students in private schools will learn at an earlier age compared to those in public schools. And they talk of inclusivity and equality. The NEP will let class 6 students choose their subjects. But what they fail to realize is that a child's mind is like wet clay. They get attracted to whatever they see on television. They don't even know about their origin, reproduction. And that reminds me how the NEP has completely neglected the need of sex education in India. And we talk of fighting gender discrimination and stopping sexual harassment. Ha. And finally, the rote learning that the NEP aims to put an end to will actually not end at all. Exams will still decide your future. And how is it different from the current system? It isn't. Global standards talk about having practical based exams and not welcome to who can rote learn better exams. In conclusion, the NEP fails to provide even equal education, and such a policy can never propel a country to global standards. Thank you.
Thank you, Code G2. Now I would like Ms. Sunita George to put up a question for Code G2.
Hi, Ankit.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon. So I feel most of the points, like I'll just begin with whatever your initial lines. So I feel if we were all taught under NEP 2020, if we were all coming under that, the people present here, we would actually understand what you said, right? Because that was in a regional language. So we would actually understand what you said. So that is one thing that I want to tell you. The second thing being, you keep saying that English is the standard language, English is the global language. So English is just spoken by the majority people. It's not spoken by everyone. It's not spoken by all the people. There are multiple languages which are followed by different countries abroad. And like Dr. Shastri sir just very rightly pointed out, that it's just a medium. It's just a medium to reach to that skill set, to the science, right? So do you still feel that having that option to educate students, to educate children, to bring them closer to the science, to the skill, just to bring them closer, they're giving an option to have all the regional languages and different mediums to bring them closer. Do you still want to take that away? Do you still think taking that away is more important than actually having to give them an option to study?
Thank you for the question, ma'am. Ma'am, first of all, for the beginning of my speech, what I meant to convey is that the people who studied in, let's say, Telugu will understand the Telugu part, but the people who studied in Maharashtri language will not understand it and will only understand their part. The NEP is doing a great job. Coming to a second point, the NEP is doing a great job by putting regional languages in, and it will bring us closer to science, as you said, but it will take us far from each other. Now, language will become a barrier, and it will divide the country into many different parts. And let's say, as an example, Hyderabad. Now, it is a city where both Urdu and Telugu is spoken. So in a city like that, it is very difficult to tell what is the regional language. And you cannot just have Telugu. Now, what will the other students do? And you cannot have Urdu because the Telugu students won't be able to understand. So I think the NEP, although its idea is good, but the way it is taking it forward will put it in a situation where many students will not even be able to communicate with each other. And the science we're talking about will practically kind of useless if we cannot even talk to each other and know what are the pros and cons of what we are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Code G2.
Now, I would like to call participant with code F1, Nehal Dubey, to come and present her views.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to apologize for the delay. Am I audible and visible now, finally?
Yes, you are audible and visible.
Thank you so much. Amazing. Let's start. It's not a hidden fact that the current Indian education system has been deemed as archaic by students and teachers alike. And rightfully so, considering our present system inadvertently emphasizes on rote learning with little incentive to real-life application. Couple this model with skyrocketing cutoffs for student admissions, us students are oftentimes left with nothing but mental health issues and a rigid skill set. A very good morning to one and all present here. Respected judges, honorable teachers, and all the benign listeners of today's debate. My name is Nehal and I will be speaking for the motion on the topic, will the National Education Policy 2020 propel India to global standards? And in my humble opinion, yes, it undoubtedly and irrevocably will. To back up my previous point, according to the Worldwide Student Happiness Report of 2019, India ranks 133 and ranks 95 in quality of education. India also accounts for the highest number of student suicide cases in the world. I think all of us present here now finally understand just how rigid and antiquated our current system is, thanks to the 35-year-old education policy released in 1986, which did not account for the competitive global landscape of today's world. While the NEP 2020 retains the focus on social inclusivity, it also strives to put India on the world education map. Having said that, the question that arises here is, how do we take our education model global, all the while making education accessible to all? Worry not, the NEP 2020 has not left any stone unturned, as it strives to set up educational digital platforms, allows transfer of credit, and of course, conducting a common entrance exam in universities, which will allow us to switch between educational institutes of our choice. And the cherry on top is the decision to invite foreign universities to set up campuses in order to improve the quality of curriculum. All of this is akin to an educational revolution. And I think that it's safe to say that the education in India would soon be at par with other countries such as the United Kingdom, Finland, Ireland, and Australia. Need I say more? Rome was not built in a day, and neither can we expect the NEP 2020 policy to be executed without any challenges. But the government has definitely been burning the midnight oil, and it is clearly evident. Therefore, yes, the National Education Policy 2020 would definitely help propel India to amazing heights of educational standards. With this, I rest my case. Thank you.
So this was participant F1 speaking for the motion. Now may I request Ms. Anjana Sapru ma'am to put up a question to code A1, F1.
Hi, Nehal.
Hello, ma'am.
Well, good show. Actually, you didn't get nervous. I'm very appreciative of that. You know, took
Thank you so much.
all technical glitch into your stride. Okay, so I want to go a little deeper because I've been looking at the NEP clauses and trying to analyze. And could you tell me what is the role of pedagogy in all this? I mean, are we just teaching rote? How are we getting away from the rote? You know, the rote learning. How is the actual learning going to be different under the NEP than compared to the older version? So, do you think pedagogy is one of those things that will help? You know,
Right. Ma'am, first of all, thank you so much for bringing that up.
Yeah. I can't hear you. Sorry, Nehal, I can't hear you. I think you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself?
Am I audible now?
Yeah, audible
Okay.
now. Tell me.
Okay, great. Amazing. So, ma'am, again, thank you so much for asking that question. My answer would be to that question. I think
You're fine now.
have to. Okay. Actually, I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
I understand. Take a minute. No issues. Take a minute.
Yeah.
Good.
Actually, ma'am, if we are familiar with the National Education Policy 2020, we know that their main motive, one of the main motives, is to include analytical thinking, is to promote more discussions like we are having, promote more of these things on so many levels.
Wider
right?
platform. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. On a wider platform, on from since the primary level. We did not used to have these sort of discussions when we were in such small classes. Right, but now the coming generations would have that privilege. So definitely the NEP is going to change the whole story of how education is perceived in our country. And of course, as Ajay sir said, it's a master stroke policy.
Yes.
So that would be my
Yes,
answer.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Good response, Nehal.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, code F1.
Thank you.
So now I would like to call participant with code F2, Khushi Rawat.
Hi, am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Okay. There's a world of difference between knowing what to do and actually doing it. A very good morning to esteemed judges, reverend member of management, principals, teachers, and all my dear friend. Today, I, Khushi of code F2, is going to speak against the motion on the topic, will National Education Policy 2020 propel India to global standards? As a citizen of India, it will be an honor if the new policy propels our country to global standards. But do we have an actual roadmap to do it? The proper planning, proper infrastructure, enough funds? Sorry to say, but the answer is a big no. Due to COVID, our country has already experienced a downfall in GDP, and now investing 6% of it on education is a big task, and it cannot happen without proper planning. Then there are numerous government schools without proper infrastructure. Some even lack proper sanitation facilities. There is scarcity of teachers. I fail to understand with these all constraints, is it possible to provide vocational education to the young students? All this seems impossible to me. There are at least 32 million Indian children who have never been to any school, and over 2.9 crore children does not have access to digital devices for studies. And this policy claims that by focusing on e-learning more, we can make India propel global standards. Do you think it's possible? There are so many children who don't even know what school is, and we are doing everything except finding a way to provide them the basic education, which is their prime right. Then I agree. Our mother tongue is our identity, the most beautiful language ever. But when the question comes to reach the global standard, we have to come out of a comfort zone, and using mother tongue as a medium of instruction till 5th grade will definitely not help us to achieve this, because those are the formative years of a child. The first step towards change is awareness, and the second step is acceptance. I believe that to make this policy work, we have to create awareness about this among the parents, the elders, because we all know how seriously our society take these things. I'm pretty sure if a child tell their parent, oh, now percentage doesn't matter that much, and I really want to take physics, chemistry, and history, their first reaction will be, so what? Why are you taking history? Take maths instead, and you still have to score above 90. The society have this mindset, and we have to change this first. I believe that if our country's each and every child is educated, the youth is educated, the government is providing enough facilities to make our country better, our country can definitely reach the global standard. But the real image of this in our country does not change with the theoretical documents provided by the government, because in the end, action speaks much louder than words. With this, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you so much, code F2, speaking against the motion. Now I would request Dr. Ajay Sharma sir to put up a question for code F2.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Khushi.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Again, talking about languages, these things matter coming up again and again. Any idea how many Indian languages Google search engine is offering?
I don't know total, but I guess like more than 15, I think.
No, it is not 15, it is 9 to be precise as of now. But if Google, this technology company, it is providing the entire database of search in 9 Indian regional languages, including Hindi, Bengali, Tamil, Marathi, and all. So, again, pointing back to this multilinguistic aspect of learning is government is only trying to create a structure wherein children they have access of learning in their regional languages. It is in no way prohibiting a child who is wanting to learn English. And if a child has opted for Gujarati per se, right from grade 6 or maybe at earlier grade 3 and some schools to be inducted later, if a child has opted for Gujarati, we, the government or the school, the parent, we expect the child to pick up the language, same language, continue with Gujarati in the secondary stage and the middle stage. Like you might have studied Sanskrit or French or some other language, third language in middle school, right? So if you have opted for Sanskrit, let's say in grade 6, we expect you to study Sanskrit for next 2 years of your middle school, for 7 and grade 8 also. Similarly, government is only wanting this regional language to be taken up seriously, and those children who are not so proficient in English or not very comfortable with English or are staying in an area where they are not having good resources, good textbooks or good faculty in English, there the children, they can access, they can learn, they can educate, they can grow in other with the help of other regional languages also. So just to give an example, if Google, this big technology company, if they can provide you this kind of facility, 9 Indian languages, there has to be some logic, there has to be some reason behind this. So in any case, this NEP document is not a failure for that part. It is only kind of help, an extension of help given to the coming generation of children to multiply those kinds of venues of learning, right? Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir, definitely. But sir, when as you said that many children live in a
Infrastructure, can you hear me?
yes, sir, yes, sir. Sir, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay, infrastructure, you said insufficient infrastructure. I agree with you that it is very ambitious on government to think that we may create that kind of infrastructure. But then again, with every challenge, there comes the opportunity as well. Okay, so we have to see the challenge and convert that challenging situation into an opportunity. Today, as of now, I agree with you that we do not have requisite infrastructure in terms of digital devices or networks or textbooks or faculties or resource materials or maybe schools or colleges in order to support this. But then again, it is a progressive curriculum, it is a progressive plan. And to you and to all other members who are participating in this debate, there is something called NCF. NEP is National Education Policy. There's something called NC, which is National Curriculum Framework, and is still in the process. In order to implement the NEP, government is again, there's a same draft headed by Kasturi Rangan sir. They are again sitting in this, they are coming out with this curriculum framework, which is to design how this NEP is to be implemented. So at your age, at maybe grade, school students or college students or even teachers, it is very speculative. We are only doing speculation at this end, unless we understand this in great detail, that how this is going to be implemented. We are only speculating. Okay, so there are people at the government and they know exactly how they are going to implement it. Obviously, it will take, there are challenges, but it will be implemented. You need not worry, it will be implemented in our lifetime. It is going to be implemented soon. So the NCF, National Curriculum Framework, is going to be designed, and government is planning to see how they are going to implement it later. Okay, thank you.
So the first point, as you said, that there are many children who live in an area where English is not much, English is not that much talk. People don't talk in English that much. So for those children, school is the only place where they can actually communicate in English and they can be comfortable speaking English and where they will learn English. So I believe that if they will not learn English in school also, like not learn actually, but like they will not communicate in English in school also, so they will become uncomfortable in English, and maybe that will not work with for them in future. It can happen definitely, because Hindi we all speak in our home, and I said that it is our identity and we should not lose Hindi. Because I believe that yeah, we should be in touch and with our roots, but if we are talking about global standard, English is something all should know, like yeah. And the second point which you said, I totally agree, and that's what I said, that we can actually make our country reach global standard if we have a proper planning with all this. Government can provide all these resources, and definitely it can take time, and I know we can do it. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, code F2.
Now, I would like to call participant with code H1, Atharva Nair, to come and present his views.
Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible? Actually, H1, the participant with the H1 code is facing some network issue. So may I start?
Yeah, sure. No, you can't. Wait.
Okay, I have to wait for H1, right?
Yeah, I will ask ma'am.
Okay, just.
Right now, we are moving on with the participant I1, Tarun Junjunwala. Participant with code I1, Tarun Junjunwala, to please come and present his views.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Your video is not visible.
Yeah, am I visible now? Shall I start?
Yeah, you may start.
Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. Greetings to the August House. Today, I will be speaking in favor of the motion NEP 2020 will propel India to global standards. The government of India announced sweeping changes in the education policy for the first time in 34 years. Yes, my friends, 34 long years. This document outlines the vision of India's new education system. Believe me, my friends, this well thought and forward looking document will be an important milestone in India's journey towards becoming a global knowledge superpower. As you know, my friends, this policy seeks rectification of poor literacy and numeracy outcomes linked with primary schools and reduction in dropout levels in middle and secondary schools. That's something very great. As you know, India is considered as a rapidly growing economy, and for its prosperous future, don't you think that high quality and inclusive education is of utmost importance? This system will produce young adults with innovative approach towards life and work. The 360-degree multi-dimensional report cards will detail the capabilities of the learner in multiple domains. With technology as a central tenet, the NEP also highlights the use of AI-based software. Yes, you heard me right. AI-based software to help students keep track of their growth through their school years. As a class 11 student, I'm aware of the great divide, the division of students into humanities, commerce, and science. This system will break these silos, and one will be able to choose subjects that were earlier exclusive to a particular stream. Moreover, it will also introduce students to vocational courses, which is a dream come true. Moreover, students of classes 6 will also be introduced to coding, which is the need of the hour. I firmly believe that all this will bring us at par with the global standards. I would like to conclude by saying that NEP 2020 will create a generation of young India with well-rounded critical skills. And in this way, believe me, my friends, it will help us in reaching the global standards as it is very student-centric and extremely collaborative. Thank you.
So this was participant I1 speaking for the motion. Now may I request Ms. Anjana Sapru ma'am to put up a question to code I1.
Hi, Tarun. Hi. Can you hear
Good
me?
afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Okay, I really like your presentation. I like the positivity part of it, especially about the reports being so colorful, etc. But I was wondering about how do you think the policy addresses this tech issue? Because, I mean, yes, they have provided for technology from very early on. But what about all the millions of students who do not have access to internet or even have devices to access internet? How will the gap be filled by this policy?
Ma'am, I feel like I pointed out in my debate that India is rapidly growing and we are focusing more on digitalization of our economy. That is, if I talk about the e-Pathshalas, you must be aware of that, that how
Yes.
students in villages are being connected through it. So, ma'am, I feel that since this will be implemented fully by 2040, so I think that by then, most of the students, if not all, will have some kind of access to mobiles and laptops. So I
Yeah, the
feel that
problem is the implementation year is so much later that you'll have
yes,
a
ma'am.
whole bulk and backlog of students who have not been able to access it. So in a way, I do feel that the policy needs to be bolstered
Yes,
by finances and more device friendly policies. Otherwise, you'll end up with just like you have a whole lot of people now who cannot access the English language and hence cannot access school. You'll have the same thing. You will have students who cannot access the internet and hence cannot access the kind of value.
So now I would like to call participant with code I2, Manjari Pandey. Code I2, Manjari Pandey.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. A very good morning to the members of August House. Today, I will be speaking against the motion, National Education Policy will propel India to global standards. The National Education Policy, introduced in 2020, has proposed some big changes in the Indian education system. However, the policy was passed without the state government's approval. I think you would all agree with me that this violates the democracy and federalism of our country, as education falls in the concurrent list. Vocational courses will be made a part of the curriculum of students from 6th class. However, Indian schools lack the necessary technology and infrastructure to do so. Do you still think that India will be marked as the global hub for education? Moreover, teaching kids vocational courses will help them earn money through these jobs. But I firmly believe that this can prove to be very harmful for students coming from poorer sections of society, as they will feel inclined to start working from an early age of 11 to 12 years to support their families, increasing dropout rates and child labor in India. The policy also aims at achieving a 100% gross enrollment ratio. But the number of schools in India is not enough to accommodate all the students if they regularly started attending school. My dear friends, even though in the global scenario, every child should have access to basic education, it is yet a dream for India. So just think, can we really attain global standards in the current situation? The policy also pays a lot of attention to minimizing rote learning in the name of education, but it does not highlight any methods in which it plans to do so. The curriculum might have been revised, but the syllabus still remains the same. Students are still forced to learn information that is easily accessible whenever required, and the books still contain outdated information. I would also like to highlight that English as an optional teaching medium will discourage students from learning fluent English. Knowing how to communicate in English is what gives India a significant advantage over other Asian countries, where most of the population does not speak English. Don't you think that even in India, any student transferring from one state to another will have trouble learning, as they will not understand the local language of the state? So, learning English becomes necessary, or else, how will we connect globally? The Indian education system will require sweeping
but also practical and attainable changes to compete globally. I believe that when and only when every child in India feels completely satisfied by what they learn, only then, my dear friends, Indian education system will be able to attain global standards. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Code I2. Now I would request Ms. Sunita George to put up a question for Code I2.
Hi, Manjari.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, so good presentation. So do you agree with the fact that with the policy implementation that ages 3 to 6 should be brought under the school curriculum?
Yes,
If
ma'am.
yes, then why? If no, then why?
Ma'am, because even children that are just in the age of 3 to 6, that is the age when the foundation of their education is built. And so if they are given their education and their curriculum and their syllabus is given more important directly by the government, it is obviously profitable. Like, there is absolutely nothing negative about this change that was introduced by the policy. So yes, I do believe it is a good change.
So you are not really against the whole policy. You're just you
No, ma'am.
accept this change.
Ma'am, I cannot say that every single change that was introduced in the policy is wrong. Definitely some amendments need to be made. So that's what I believe, that the policy should not be abolished, but it should be replaced after some amendments have been made.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Code I2.
Now, I would like to call participant with code H1, Atharva Nair, to come and present his views.
Good morning. Am I good afternoon. Am I audible and
Code
visible?
H.
Am I
Yes, you
audible? Okay, great. Knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress in every society, in every family. Good morning, respected board members and my fellow competitors. I'll be speaking with the motion of the topic. The National Education Policy of India 2020, which was approved by the Union Cabinet of India, outlines the vision of a new education system of India. The new policy replaces the previous National Policy on Education, 1986. The policy is a comprehensive framework for elementary education to higher education, as well as vocational training in both rural and urban India. The policy aims to transform India's education system by 2040. Here are some points which are applied in the NEP 2020. The government aims to make schooling available to everyone with the help of 2020 by extending the right to education eligibility window from 6 to 14 years to 3 to 18 years. According to NEP 2020, 10 plus 2 structure will be replaced by the new 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure. This structure is focused on students' formative years of learning. For children up to the age of 8, a national curricular and pedagogical framework for early childhood care and education will be designed and developed by NCERT. There will also be a 3-month preparatory course for students in which they can access digital content through energized textbooks, aka ETB Diksha. Teacher vacancies are also to be fulfilled in the policy in a time-bound manner with a priority to disadvantaged areas and sections of the society. The policy proposes the minimum teacher education degree requirement to change from the current 2-year diploma in elementary education or B.Ed degree to a 4-year B.Ed undergraduate program by 2030. The policy strongly suggests promotion based on merit rather than seniority on teaching level. Doesn't matter if it's in elementary, primary, or secondary. There are also options for vertical mobility of teachers, where high performing teachers can be promoted to work at a district or state level. The government of India aims to set up the NEP by the year 2040. Till the targeted year, the key point of the plan is to be implemented one by one. The proposed reform by NEP 2020 will come into effect by the collaboration of the central and state government. And that's all I have to say.
So this was code H1 speaking for the motion. Now may I request Ms. Anjana Sapru ma'am to ask him a question.
Hi, Atharva. I'm a little disappointed by your presentation because you merely just read through all the clauses of the policy, which we can all read on the internet. I wanted to actually know how you really felt, what you really felt were the strongest points of all the features of the policies of the features of this policy. So I'm going to ask you one question, which your other colleagues have been debating, is that what do you think about the language trap? Do you think that it should be this positioning of the regional language in the policy? What is your personal view on that?
I think that we should implement the usage of regional languages, because in the last policy, English was our main, and there are a lot of parts of the country where we don't use English or even Hindi. So I think, yeah, it should be implemented.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, code H1.
Now I would like to call code H2 Ansh Kumari. Now I would like to call code H2 Anshu Kumari.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so can I start?
Yes, you may start.
A cheerful good afternoon to everyone. I'm Anshu Kumari, and as we all have gathered here today to talk about the new education policy, so I went through the whole document, and here are some of my major concerns that I would like to present. So, starting with the new education policy's broad categorization of the social economically disadvantaged group, the SEDG. So, disadvantage just doesn't come from the air. It is historical, it is social. That is the way identities have been, shaped with declaration of exclusion. Clubbing everyone under the SEDG, shying away from saying Dalit or minority, would not really get us to even acknowledge what the issue is. This is sort of glossing over it. We have to understand what caste is and what does it mean when we say a child is from the Muslim community, or how does a child, fare within the system? How do others look at this child? Trying to understand the diverse social reality and disadvantage and exclusion is the key. The next point that I saw as a major concern is the vocational training. So the NEP's 2020, the NEP New Education Policy 2020 states that, at least 50% of the learners going through the school and the higher education system shall have exposure to vocational education. Now, I do not understand what kind of vocational training exposure do you provide to a class 6 student. However, I do have an idea who will be the 50% who will be opting or made to opt for the modern child labor. The vocational training's exposure at such an early age will also lead to school dropouts once they are skilled. The children from the social economically backward classes will move towards earning based on the skill due to their poverty, or will be pushed in that direction by the oppressors. Thereby, systematically, we are denying higher education to the poor and the socially backward classes. Next point that I would like to highlight is the school system. The 10 plus 2 system will be divided into 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 format. Now, my concern here is that we are making it compulsory for a 3-year-old to enroll in a school. And it doesn't seem right when the ideal age to start school in different countries, as per my research, is anywhere from between 4 to 6 years of age. And I have done my research all through different countries like Ireland, England, Germany. Now, I suppose there seems to be no study conducted by the committee to find the ideal age for a child to start school. Now, If you start school early and dump on them to study 3 languages, it's been proven that it may cause mental health problems for the child. Before I end, I would like to conclude that the new education policy is an attempt to deny social justice and social equity to everyone. And with all of the facts that I have stated, you can make out that the new education policy 2020 won't be able to propel India to global standards. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Code H2, Anshu Kumari. Now I would like Dr. Ajay Sharma sir to put up a question for Code H2.
Good afternoon, Anshu.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good presentation. Again, need to do a bit more research, need to study more. One question. Do you think vocational education leads to child labor? And if you think, please explain.
So what I meant is vocational learning doesn't, directly lead to child labor, but indirectly. I understand the government is doing vocational learning to, give respect to the work, that to, maintain respect among all types of different works that are done by people, different professions. But indirectly, in some cases, like if a middle class person is given vocational training, it will be great. But what about those who are studying, who are below who are at the poverty line, or who are just on the lower middle class? They don't have time to, they just don't have enough resources to, understand about the respect. The moment they get skilled, they only think about earning. Their main source is to feed themselves. And once they get the skills, they would certainly just go and do the job, earn, and then fulfill their needs and their family's needs. They do not have enough resources to, get, learn that vocational training in such a way that the government is trying to give them. So hence, I believe that it's indirectly connected to it, not directly. And also, in some cases, it's good. In some cases, it's bad. But we have to see this, as this education policy is given to the whole nation, we have to see the percentage as per the whole nation, not just talk about a particular group of people that are there in the nation. We have to see all the people, all the students, all the different caste, minorities we have in this nation.
Now, coming back to the question, vocational education, how it leads to child labor? If you have to say on this.
Yes, sir. So as per vocational training, maybe you are learning about carpenting, maybe you are learning about different skills, right? All those skills that can be used in the real world. So once I get vocationally trained 2 to 3 years, I can go out and do the job to earn for my family, feed my family. Then I will definitely skip school and go out, use my skills and earn money. That's how it happens. If I'm able to clear that.
No, Anshu, I'll just correct you, Bete. I'll just correct you here. Vocational education is not about education which will help you to learn immediately. It is certain life-saving skills also. I'll give you one example here, and all the listeners and all the participants. In engineering, if you have your brothers, sisters, cousins, anyone who has done engineering, whomsoever you know, across India, across world for that matter, any university, you do any course, maybe BTech in computer science, IT, electronics, which has no connection with skills like carpentry. Just for your knowledge, I must tell you, in the first year of engineering graduation course, there are skill-based courses known as welding. BTech, yes, they are taught welding, carpentry, drilling, lathe machine and all. And imagine an engineer who has to work in a, an IT desk. And imagine a person who has to do his programming or coding on a system, what he or she has to do with carpentry or drilling or lathe machine or maybe, welding and all. No, it is only about creating a holistic individual who possess all those necessary survival skills like rope climbing. All these are skills. Vocational skill is not about skill which will help a person. Yes, it will definitely provide people with necessary skills in case, God forbid, a situation come wherein a person has to leave the formal education system. The person can survive and person can work and the person can help his or her family. True. But then again, it is not about creating an interest. Eventually, it will be the It will be your opinion, it will be your decision, it will be your call at what age you want to leave the formal education system. Also, I'll take your question. Also, vocational, let us understand this terminology, vocational. What do you think about vocational system, vocational education? What have you I mean, what kind of clarity you have about vocational education system?
So the different skills that are given for, as per you said, survival, different skills, maybe survival skills like carpeting, the skills that you need in day-to-day life, like maybe fixing a bulb or do some electrical skills that you need, maybe some carpenting skills that you need, maybe, yeah, different skills that you need in your
Or
day-to-day
I'll
life.
give you a simple example. For example, if we include cookery, if you include cooking classes in school, and imagine you have a brother who goes to study engineering in some foreign country, maybe some other state, and he have to live in a, he doesn't get hostel accommodation. He has to live in a PG or somewhere, and he has to cook. Imagine, in case if we can include cooking as a necessary skill right from grade 6 onward, don't you think it will help the boys much? So every skill, even typing, I tell you a simple incident. When I was of your age, as in maybe grade 8 or 9, when I studied in a village school, my father, he sent me to a typing college at that time. I started typing. It was hardly 1.5 month, 2 month course. And then I was obviously not, my father was not wanting me to join some government job as a clerk. But then again, typing the day, after many years later, the first time when I sat on a PC, I realized that the keyboard is exactly the same as that of a typewriter. And then that skill which I learned many years back, maybe a decade back, it helped me. It helped me in typing on a PC. Therefore, every skill, every piece of knowledge that you attain, even by tying a shoe, tying the lace of a shoe, every skill that is being studied in school is a skill. It is a survival skill. It is going to help us. So there is no demarcation as such. Now coming back to one very important point, what you perhaps missed out, Bete, that a man do not get respect by his work. He gets a respect by his style of work, by his ability to do that work. And even for that matter, a peon or a guard or a watchman or a clerk, they are also respectful people. And just for your information, during this pandemic has showed a lot of it has given a lot of teaching. The so-called educated people, even teachers, principals, and even professors, even people who are MNCs, they have lost their job. They could struggle to get two ends meet. They could not get, they were struggling. But even those, what we call menial jobs, those people, the grocery shop owner in the neighborhood, even people who were doing odd labor job, somehow they could survive, some of them. Understand? So here, it is not about attaching respect to a vocation. Let us not degrade these skills as vocational education. These are as important as your Sanskrit, physics, maths, chemistry, and other language, other subject. So in no way they are menial. In no way they have less importance as what your academic subjects are. So it is highly unfortunate that after so many years of independence in India, we do not have a clear-cut pedagogical structure, a clear-cut, this NEP document is going to be a complete reformation, wherein marks will be awarded, subjects will be taught on vocational basis. Okay, so we had to understand this document more in order to debate and discuss about vocational education. Vocational education do not mean if you learn gardening that you start you work in a farm, you become a gardener. No. See, all these
Actually, yes, I would like to intervene. It gives, basically, it is there to give an hands-on experience to the child or various vocational experiences the child can attain, be it gardening, cooking, baking, whatever the child has an interest, which can be used later in the life, as sir has just now pointed out.
Very rightly said, ma'am. And
Yes.
just better, Anshu, those top big CEOs of companies, you must be having your small kitchen garden or a terrace garden at home. So in case if you learn about manures or different about, if you understand about what you call, different types of manures or maybe some plants and about a different type of what you call cutting. So it is only about understanding the 5 nuances of different skills and different vocational programs. Then it will help. So these days people are coming about different types of, even in gardening also. You must have heard about hydroponics.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hydroponics is a branch of science that deals with study of, it's basically about organic farming these days. Farming without sand, farming without soil. It is only in water. So something like this. So vocational it is exactly of the same importance as that if in academics. This is what I have to say. Okay. Thank you, Aditya ma'am. Thank you so much.
Sir, I would like to add something. May I?
Yeah, please.
Sir, thank you for giving that. Thank you for correcting me. I may have used the wrong words. But one thing, sir, that I respect your opinions and the facts. But one thing that I would like to say, that some of the skills that are under the vocational are, basic survival skills. But when we talk about the ground level, some, not all, but some of them are actually connected to child labor. That's my opinion. And the vocational training point that I brought today on the table was something that I have seen in news, something that I've seen in articles, something that I have seen people discussing. So obviously there was some fact that people were discussing. Now I abide by your point that not all of them are connected to child labor, but some of them are, because this is something that I've seen on news channels. This is something that I've seen people talking about. This is something that the whole nation has conversed about after the new education policy came. So yeah, that was something that I wanted to add.
Thank you so much, Anshu.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, ma'am, and code HT. Now I would like to call the participant with code J1, Khushi Kalyan. I would request participant with code J1, Khushi Kalyan.
Yes. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
I'll start. India, the second largest country in population, the fifth largest country by land, a proud nation, a diverse landscape, and a history as bright as the summer sky. India, a country with cheap labor, a nation where 25% of its youth is unemployed, a domain known for corruption and delayed law. Two contrasting pictures of the very same country, separated by the common thread of quality education. A very good morning to one and all. Today, I stand present before you to firmly favor the motion. India has always boasted of its rich traditions in terms of learning and education since the ancient times. The new education policy 2020 has been an absolute godsend for our nation. Through this policy, our government aims at making India a global knowledge superpower, which will only be possible by making our education system for the schools and colleges more holistic and flexible, bringing out our unique capabilities. The aim of NEP 2020 is to change the objectives and the course content of the education sector. The changes brought on by this policy have carefully incorporated invaluable qualities such as development, talent, and life skills. With this skill-based education system, Indian students are matching global level of standards. So this policy clearly resolves the critical issues that are faced by our current education system, but also it brings in about a totality in the terms of paradigm change that are being faced by the educated and skilled people of our country. In order to motivate the students to stay and study in India, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has invited foreign universities to set up their campuses in our country and vice versa. In fact, I think you'll be pleased to know that many students that had gone abroad and now have come back due to the COVID-19 pandemic are now opting to complete their education in our country only, crediting the NEP 2020 for their decision. The world only recognizes the cream layer of our country as the educationally qualified. But the NEP 2020 will enable the masses to become leaders in the world employment circuit rather than just trying to deal with the difficulties. My stunning opponents might argue that in our country, policies are often scribbled beautifully on pieces of paper, but when it comes to their implementation, we often fail. Well, let me ask them a question. Has there been any development in the history of mankind that hasn't had its slowbacks and set downs? Yes, the process of implementation of this policy will be quite tricky, but getting it started is in itself a huge success. So are we just going to let the fear of possibilities hold us back from something that is so worthwhile, that it's human quantification? And last, I would like to conclude by saying that a trend is initiated by one, marketed by some, and followed by the rest. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Code J1. Now I would request Ms. Anjana Sapru ma'am to put up a question for Code J1.
Hi, Khushi.
Hello, ma'am.
Good presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So you know that the number of years in school has now been extended, right? The total number of schools.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Especially plus 4 part. And then, but then students can easily get a degree in 2-3 years. Do you think that students are going to leave the education system because it's too long? What is your view on that?
Ma'am, I would say that sometimes I've read about this in social studies, class 10th. I would say that people pull their children out of their school because they think that the education that is being provided to them will not be put to any use. It will be quite worthless, what they're being taught. And well, there are many children in the slum areas who do not quite understand English or the subjects that are being taught in that. So I think with the regional languages that are now being put to use, when the children will be able to understand the content, what their teachers are trying to teach them, I think the parents will also see that how important it is for their children to learn these subjects and how much they can apply it in their future. They can make a career out of it. And the children themselves, if they feel that the thing that they're studying is interesting and that they're able to grasp the concept and get good marks in it, they'll be so interested to impress their teachers and make a career and break the bounds of poverty. So that's just what I think about this.
Yeah. Another matter is that, of course, it aligns then our system to the global systems as well. I think that's the single most important point that is important, because we all talk about meeting the global standards. This was one of the things that was brought on to meet in the global standards, actually, because everybody else follows that system. So it's a very timely, timely policy that's coming into place.
Definitely, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Khushi. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Code J1. Now I would like Code J2, Shireen Bindru, to speak against the motion.
Yeah, hi. I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, yes, yes.
A 17-year-old NEET aspirant from Tamil Nadu allegedly died by suicide, fearing she wouldn't clear the exam. Such is the state of our education system today. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Shireen Bindru, and I stand before you to present my views firmly against the motion. Well, my lovely opponents have left no stone unturned to convince you that the new education policy, the future of India, is going to cut through all the atrocities, bring our nation to the top of the world and whatnot. But ladies and gentlemen, just answer me one thing. In this dynamic world, is just the act of change enough? Don't we need actual reforms that go on with today's time? NEP 2020 does call for reforms in the education system, but in my opinion, this change is too late and too little. NEP was the need of yesterday, but today is rapidly evolving. And I do not think that what we had wanted yesterday would be of relevance tomorrow also. With online classes and new techniques of teaching, I feel that we need policies that are dynamic and holistic. Policies that work towards a brighter future. There are other shortcomings as well in the unveiled policy, like globalization thrust to compete with global higher education is absent. The policy creates no vision for the improvement of the government schools. There is no provision of training for the existing teachers as well. And how can India propel to global standards if such is the state of our education system? Regional and local languages will be promoted, but somehow English is going to take a backseat, and it is increasingly relevant for the corporate and financial worlds, not just in India, but globally. And isn't all of this about bringing our education system to the international standard? With the transfer of power to individual and local authorities, the chances of corruption or Babu Raj is also going to be higher. And we all know where corruption follows, development flouts. I would like to conclude by leaving all of you with something to ponder and think upon. Will just changing the name to education help in transforming it? Or do we need responsible and tested policies that actually bring the change? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Court J2, speaking against the motion. Now I would request Ms. Sunita George to put up a question for Court J2.
Hi, Shireen.
Hi.
So you said this multiple times that we need actual policies that bring real change, and so I'm assuming that you don't feel that NEP 2020 is going to bring an actual change, right?
Yes.
Why do you think so? Like there are so many points. When you say actual policies and that bring actual change, that bring real change, what else do you expect from NEP 2020?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the policy is going to be implemented by 2040. And that's a lot of time when I think about it. And when I say about the time, the world is changing very rapidly. And I think by 20 years of time, it will change even more fast. So I think policies that are a little more that can be amended a little more easily, that should be implemented.
I understand your view, Shireen, but then isn't too late, too little, too late also something? Then nothing,
yeah.
Right?
What I wanted to say was that whenever we implement a policy, it takes a lot of resources and time. It wants reconstruction and deconstruction. So when we are using this much resources, I think policies with a little more of thinking should have been implemented so that it would have benefited all of us.
Thank you, Shireen.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Court J2. Now I would like Prachi ma'am to continue with the proceedings.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. What a session it was. We could not have asked for a better session than this one. I mean, the young debaters, they were speaking so confidently, so impressively. I mean, and I'm really thankful to the judges for listening to them patiently, sharing their valuable inputs with us. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was such a mind-blowing session. And here I would like to request Dr. Ajay Sharma, sir, to kindly address the gathering. We would love to hear from you, sir. May I please request Dr. Ajay Sharma, sir, to kindly address this gathering?
Yes, sir. Hello, madam. Thank you. Thank you, madam. Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Thank you, Prabha madam, for inviting me for this wonderful debate. I was not knowing that you have arranged for such good debaters.
It's our pleasure.
Because this NEP is such a topic wherein I have seen and attended teachers debating on NEP, professors debating on NEP, but I was in fact a bit apprehensive when you send me the invite, and when I was reading the topic that how this NEP 2020 is going to propel India forward and the debate is to be taken at inter-school level by school children, I was a bit apprehensive. So I need to first, besides thanking you and your management and all the esteemed guests here, I need my big appreciation goes to all the participants, all the school children who have done a marvelous job, a good presentation by each one of them, because I always believe that knowledge is a metric of time and it is a metric of age. In other words, if I need to explain it, what a class 12 child, let's say a 17-year-old child knows, if the same knowledge, same skill set is being acquired by, let's say, a class 10 child, who's around 15 years of age, I would say he's more intelligent. So knowledge is definitely a metric of age. Knowledge is also a metric of time. Like 100 questions in 100 minutes, 100 questions in 50 minutes, 100 questions maybe in 30 minutes will make a difference. So learning about competitions and preparing for them. So if I have to, before this judgment per se say, these children, I guess they must be class 11, 12 children, maybe class 10. So this age group from 15 to 17, talking about NEP, and yes, they might not be knowing much, because what I feel is there's a difference between information and knowledge. They have acquired a lot of information from different sources, maybe must have sought help from teachers also, but they do require a lot of knowledge on this. But then at this age, whatever knowledge that they have, whatever they presented with, their language, their fluency, their content, presentation, everything is all marvelous, all perfect. Very good attempt by all these students. I just would like to say that this NEP 2020, one request I made earlier, that all the students and those teachers who are present, that whenever they have time, please read one about the draft committee and all the postulates which are mentioned in the draft, and try to understand it, rather than taking opinion of so-called people who have presented those opinions. NEP 2020, just before I end up this my talk, if you see the vision statement, NEP vision statement, it says that NEP 2020, it envisions India-centric education system. This NEP 2020, it is India-centric education system that contributes directly to transforming our nation sustainably. So here there are catchwords. One is about transforming our nation. If you underline this word, understand the word transformation. Transformation from our current education system. We are not talking about incremental change. We are not talking about progressive change. We are not talking about promotion or implementing something new. We are talking about here transformation. Transformation is like complete metamorphosis. So transforming our nation sustainably. Then the vision document says sustainably, which means this change is not going to be temporal. This change is not going to be instantaneous or small time. It is going to be eternal for a long, maybe for decades and centuries together, for a long time. So this NEP 2020, it says that it is going to, first, number one, it is India-centric education system. It is not Japanese or Chinese or Korean or American. No, it is our own system catering to our own needs. We do have challenges which are at our own country level and state level, but then again, it is our own document. It is our, highlighting our own problems and coming out with our own challenges. So India-centric education system, 1, 2, it will help the government say that transforming our nation sustainably. And what kind of society? And say directly contribute, the kind of society that we are expecting is that equitable and vibrant knowledge-based society or knowledge society. So equitable and vibrant knowledge society. So here again the word is equitable knowledge, which means again equal opportunity to everyone. The document clearly says that there will be no prejudice, there will be no bias. The knowledge document clearly says when the NCF comes that it will be equitable, it will provide equal opportunities for everyone, all teachers, all learners, all schools, all colleges, everyone, and a vibrant education society, which means it will have all colors of dynamism. So in a whole, if we try to understand more and more, after this, NEP 2020, it was declared in, the work started in, I think, May 2017, if I'm not wrong. Then 2019, around August, September, the draft committee gave the proposal. Just to place on record on the house, and if you remember, madam, we all as educators, all school principals and people associated with colleges and universities, we were asked by the government to give us our own suggestions. In fact, teachers, even gram panchayats, local bodies, municipal corporations, people everywhere. This perhaps it is the first document, policy document, wherein government has sought suggestions from all stakeholders, parents, teachers, university people, college people, gram panchayat people, everyone. Government has sought proposal, and it took full 1 year for the government, for the draft committee to again bring in those suggestions. So when we talk about, replacing those document abolishment, so a lot of people, they have applied a lot of mind, lot of thought, lot of time and energy in this. So what I am very, very hopeful, as there's always silver lining in the crowd. And there are some problems, there are some challenges. This country is a big, population, 1 billion people, but we are very hopeful that this document, this policy is going to be a game changer, true game changer. So thank you so much once again, madam. Thank you so much for inviting me for this wonderful show. And my all blessings to all these children, because whatever knowledge that they have displayed at this tender age, I doubt whether many of our children, they may be possessing that knowledge. So just all kudos for these children having displayed such beautiful knowledge at this age. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you, sir. I truly agree with you, sir. What you have mentioned as this is we are looking at for a sustainable transformation, and this made us up for this topic. Basically, I wanted to know कि we all thank tankers and educators. We are working behind the scene. We are trying to implement NEP at ground level, but whom we are working for, are they perceiving it in correct manner? Are they taking it whether we are trying to be their well wishers and we want them to lead a good life? So I think this session has come out very fruitfully. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable inputs. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
We also have amongst us our second learned judge, Miss Anjana Sapru. May I please request ma'am to enlighten us? May I please request ma'am to kindly address the gathering? Miss Anjana Sapru, ma'am. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, beta.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask something to Ajay sir. Am I allowed?
Okay. Sir is with us. Sir is here. Sir, we have a question. So one young debater is here. She would like to just. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
That is.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Just come on. Yeah, please.
Sorry, sir, I am here to disturb you again. Sir, I wanted to ask that I did research, but I wasn't able to find out that if the new education policy is working on, because mostly we see that people get education in India, then go outside and work for some other country's economy. So is the new education policy also working in this, that we are starting outside but bringing the knowledge or contributing back to our economy? Does this education policy also work on that? Because I did a lot of research, but I wasn't able to find anything.
No, it do have postulates on this, or something called reverse brain drain. See, there is always a choice. It is a personal choice whether which country, which place, what kind of work that you want to do, what career you want to lead. It is a personal choice. So government cannot force people to take up a specific career, to work in a specific country, or to take up any specific job. So government cannot force. But yes, if the government can create a sustainable infrastructure and sustainable knowledge base, sustainable technological inputs, then a sustainable technological framework, then we expect that the coming generations, instead of choosing or preferring to work in foreign lands, they will have greener pastures here in their own country as well. And just for your knowledge, Bete, during pandemic, just for your knowledge, during pandemic, the number of applicants from NASA. So here, when you talk about the schools, what do you want to do in life? Children say, I want to be a doctor, engineer, I want to be an astronaut in NASA. I'm not knowing what NASA is. Just for your information, there were more than 70 applications from NASA scientists who are from America, Germany, France, China, and all. More than 70 applications of NASA scientists ISRO has received during this pandemic. ISRO had received. Just imagine. And also, there's a university called EFL, English and Foreign Language University in Hyderabad. So, just for your knowledge, there are many, and we are the leaders. English, American English, British English, Irish English, and so on. So when we talk about even in English also, Indians do have a great advantage that we are following and leading British English. And in this university in Hyderabad, which is a central university, you would be amazed to know that we Indians are teaching English grammar and pronunciation and syntaxes to foreigners. And vast majority of the learners are from foreign countries, English-speaking countries, Australia, New Zealand, England, Ireland. And so if we are able to teach English to foreigners, if we are able to create jobs for the NASA scientists, I see no reason as to why in the coming decades, India can be the golden sparrow again as far as the knowledge base is concerned. We will be one day shine. हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. We will be shining one day. Okay, so let's hope with you people, wonderful people of this kind of generation of 15-16-year-old, you are trying to display that kind of knowledge. I am very hopeful this country has a bright future. I am very hopeful. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
It is such a pleasure. It is such a pleasure to hear from you. But I have to add this, that we have our young debaters who are really inquisitive, well-informed, well-read. I mean, so impressive. May I please ask Ms. Sunita George now, our third judge for the day, to kindly address the gathering. Sunita George.
Hi, hello. Thank you, ma'am. Hi,
Hello, Sunita.
everyone. I'd like to first thank everyone, the school management and all the teachers, because without of me, it's a moment of great pride for me, because this is my school thinking of me for judging the debate competition. Regarding the policy, I don't have much to say because Dr. Shastri sir has already addressed all the main points and all the main issues. But then I just like to bring forth the student point of view for the policy. So as we were debating regarding the languages, that it is giving us a multilingualism point, I'd like to say that the inclusion of international languages also enables the students to go abroad for further studies as well. Because like we know that Germany is actually the origin for a lot of technologies that we use right now. It has the most advanced technologies of the world when it comes to things like automation. So, but then to enter Germany, one needs to know the language German. So if I don't know German language, I can't enter Germany either for work or for studies. So a considerable amount of time is spent by a student or a working professional to learn the language so they can enter the country just to get access to that science, to that skill. So that's just a student point of view for the in favor of the national education policy. Other than that, I just like to congratulate all the participants. Amazing work done. Good research, good base that everyone has found out, gathered, and great confidence portrayed. So kudos to everyone who participated, irrespective of the results. I'd say that all the participants, you should be proud of yourself and relax. Now it's over, so just sit back, smile, and enjoy the rest of it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sunita. It was a pleasure to have you here in this meeting. Okay, it's so good to see you after so many years, Sunita. All the best, Pita. All the best. And we'll be ready with the results shortly. In the meantime, I would like to present before you all our talented students, performances from our talented students. We'll be here with the results shortly. Please enjoy.
सुन्दरि माधवी चन्द्र सहोदरि हेममये गुणिगणवन्दित मोक्षप्रदायनि मञ्जुलवासिनि पंकजवासिनि देव सुपूजित सद्गुणवर्षिणि शान्तियुते जय जय हे मधुसूदन कामिनि आदिलक्ष्मि जय पालय माम् कलिकल्पशनाशिनि भामिनि देवरूपिणि क्षीरसमुद्रममङ्गलरूपिणि चन्द्रनिवासिनि मङ्गलदायिनि अम्बुजवासिनि दुःखनाशितबालयुते जय जय हे मधुसूदन कामिनि आदिलक्ष्मि जय पालय माम् सुवरसवन्दित सुन्दरि मालति चन्द्रसहोदरि हेममये गुणिगणवन्दित मोक्षप्रदायनि मञ्जुलवासिनि पंकजवासिनि देव सुपूजित सद्गुणवर्षिणि शान्तियुते जय जय हे मधुसूदन कामिनि आदिलक्ष्मि जय पालय माम् आदिलक्ष्मि जय पालय माम् आदिलक्ष्मि जय पालय माम्
We have a storehouse of talent indeed. We'll be ready with the results shortly. Just a little more time.
The results are almost ready, just a minute or two.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, everybody ready for the results? Tighten your seat belts. Okay, so the first prize for SN Ganju Memorial Interschool English Debate 2021 goes to, for the motion, it is Nehal Dubey, VBPS Dwarka. Then there is runner-up, first runner-up, Gauri Singh from Modern Convent School, Dwarka. For the against the motion, we have Ankit Goswami from Shri Ram World School and Khushi Rawat, both of them having a tie. Khushi Rawat from VBPS Dwarka. I again repeat, Ankit Goswami, Shri Ram World School and Khushi Rawat from VBPS Dwarka. They have a tie for against the motion. Overall, best team goes to VBPS Dwarka again. But as a host school, we will not be keeping the trophy. So the trophy goes to Modern Convent School, Dwarka. A very many congratulations to all the participants and all the winning teams. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So heartiest congratulations to all the winners. You have all the debaters. You've been winners today. We'll be soon sharing with you the May I please request Mrs. Ranjana Gandhi, Senior Wing Coordinator, to propose the vote of thanks, please.
Let us be grateful to people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our souls blossom. Good afternoon, honorable management members, eminent jury, respected principal ma'am, dear teachers and lively participants. It is rightly said that it is not happiness that brings us gratitude, but gratitude that brings us happiness. On this note, I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks on this momentous occasion. First and foremost, I thank the Almighty God for showering upon us His blessings and instilling in us strength and hope in these difficult times. On VBPS Dwarka, I would like to express our deepest sense of gratitude from the bottom of my heart to honorable management members and learned jury members for sparing their valuable time and joining us today. I thank the principal of our sister concerned and other schools for allowing their students to participate in this competition. We have been fortunate enough to be supported by our activity department, English department, computer department and music department. Without their unparalleled support, this event would not have been possible. We extend our profound and heartfelt thanks to our principal ma'am who had been the guiding light throughout for the smooth proceeding of this event. Special love and thanks to all the zealous and confident participants who I am sure will turn out to be good orators in future. Special mention to Ayush Prabhakar, Rishabh Jha, Prachi Burman, Pradanya and Shivani from class 11 to lend them selfless support from behind the curtain for the successful execution of today's event. Thank you.
That was Ranjana ma'am, our senior secondary coordinator. Thank you, Ranjana ma'am. We are going to share with you all the results again on screen. Can we have the results, please, on screen? So here we have the results for you all on screen, everybody. Congratulations to all the winners. You've had a great time. Congratulations to all the participants who have participated enthusiastically. They have presented all their views very well, but there has to be a winner. So we have the results for you on screen. Thank you so much. Thank you all. I hope you all have had a gala time here. Thank you, everybody. Have a very nice day. Thank you.